Welcome everyone to Umzansi Season 4. We are ready to see all the best talent that Africa has to offer. Of course, brought to you by Northern Gaming Africa. My name is Esport and I'll be your host tonight. But don't worry, I'm not alone. I'm joined by DK and Patchy, who will be taking you through all the action when we get onto the map. But speaking about today, guys, yesterday was an absolutely fantastic day to witness some of the amazing teams that we have. Of course, in Season 4, we had some crazy clutches, DK, that just made me and Patchy question everything we've ever analyzed about PUBG Mobile. So hopefully today you can help us out, because we nothing just makes sense. Let's take a look at that schedule, though, to remind you about what we're going to be witnessing tonight and how the maps will be rolling onto your screens. Let's take of course, the 3 cycle that we all know and love. It's Erangel, Sanhok, and Miramar, depending on the times, of course, and depending on how quickly these teams decide to blow our minds, we might get there sooner or later. But in addition to that, let's take a look at why we are all here, why we are all sitting and waiting to see who's going to be moving on to the next phase and saving themselves from relegation. And it is, of course, that Season 4 prize pool, total prize pool of $17,500, with $2,500 of that going to FIFA 22 and $15,000 going to your PUBG Mobile segment, which is the only segment we'll be witnessing tonight, as the transfers for FIFA are still underway. So unfortunately, you're going to have to be just a little bit more patient before you see some FIFA action. For the time being, though, let's go take a look at the leaderboard as it currently stands, because we won't be looking at this again until the end of tonight. So make sure you keep track of all your favorite teams as they are on your screens right now. Patchy, if you would please take us through it.
Yeah, so just for a quick reminder of what we're looking at here on the overall leaderboards, it's G3 Temper sitting at number 1 with 105 points. The first, of course, have broken that 100-point mark so far in the season, although there are teams very, very close to catching up on that. Of course, the first being Rilla Insiders in position number 2 with 91 points. Zero Tolerance Skills, off the back of some very nice clutches and some performances back yesterday, have gotten themselves into position number 3 with 85 points. KHK coming in 4th with 81, and C Esports coming in 5th with 78. Two of those teams, of course, those two teams being very, very good representatives of their class, of their group, coming out of the Nkosi, and of course have done a really, really good job in showing us what they are made of. Of course, Slime 4KT is still on that first page, 70 points in 6th position. Influence Rage in 7 with 65. And Team Somalia to round out the first page in number 8 with 63 points. So not doing too badly all in all. Some serious points getting on that first page. But of course, moving on to the second page, we've got the Sidemen all the way up in number 9 with 55 points, followed very closely by Sevenson's AOK in position number 10 with 54 points. In 11, we have Aphelion Apex with 53. In 12, we've got Black Clover with 50 points. The Magicians in position number 13 with 48, as well as Lag Esports with 48 points in 14. We've got Fear in 15 with 44, and Solar Esports in position number 16 with 42 points. So far, those two pages looking very, very nice. Of course, moving on to page number 3, these players and teams are still in an okay spot, but you definitely want to be moving up a little bit here. 17, we've got the Immortalz with 41. We've got the Infinity AF and Natural Killers with 33 points each in 18 and 19. We've got the Young Thundercats in 20 with 28, as well as Ultra 6 and BBC with 28 points each in 21 and 22, respectively. We've got Black Crystal in 23 with 23, and Sincerity Esports in 24 position with 23 points. Of course, moving on to the next page is the page that you don't really want to be finding yourself. And as the season progresses, of course, you kind of want to be moving your way up out of this position, out of this location. It's Rain from Hell in position number 25 with 22 points. ATROX in 26 with 22 points as well. EXO Redefined in 27 with 18 points. We've got Toxic Esports in 28 with 17. Team Unique in 29 with 16. Comfy 6 in 30 with 12. And of course, Rainbow Six Madagascar in 31 with 6 points. Definitely want to be putting a few more points on the board to get yourself out of this particular position. I'm not too sure which teams we're going to be seeing moving up, but the only way that you can move up, indeed, is to get the points. And the only way that's possible is right here on this sheet. You can see in position number 1 is that chicken dinner. Spot will give you 15 points. Second, of course, giving you 12, and third giving you 10, and then of course decreasing all the way down into 7th. Of course, the 8 to 12 position is only going to get you 1 point. 13 to 16 gets 0. And of course, it's 1 kill, 1 point, which has been absolutely huge in determining how these seasons have been shaped so far. And well, the last few weeks, we haven't really been seeing the early aggression that we usually like. You know, we've been talking a little bit about that, and it's a little bit slow to start a lot of the games, but it's still been very, very enjoyable. And they have definitely given some insane performances in the last few weeks. And just as a testament to that, let's have a look at those kill leaders, of course, from 1 to 4 in no particular order, or perhaps in a particular order. We've got Zeke from the Rilla Insiders with 21 kills, 3,188 points of damage done, which is absolutely nuts. We've got 4KT sporting their own as well. Fex with 17 kills, 21 minutes and 24 survival time with 3,900 damage. Absolutely insane. I think that's actually top in the charts at the moment there. Of course, Buren coming out of G3 as well as Gunner coming out of G3 as well with 15 kills each, 2,800 and 2,900 damage respectively. So these guys are absolutely pumping out the damage, pumping up the numbers, and hopefully we will see that continue, and maybe we'll see some other teams also stepping up to the plate to pump out some similar numbers.
I agree, and of course tonight we will see a few familiar faces from last night. Some of the teams actually popping through, but some new faces as well joining the ranks, and of course there to just throw some wrench in the works and once again throw all our analysis out the window as they do the things that we least expect them to do. So let's take a look at those team introductions and see who we should be expecting tonight and who's going to be popping up on our screens with the absolute madness that is this African talent pool. DK, if you would please take us through these groups.
Yeah, of course. So we got the players there from the Group A squads stepping up to the plate. That is going to be BBC, Team Unique, Black Clover, Team Somalia, KHK Esports Africa, Rainbow Six Madagascar, as well as Sincerity Esports. Of course, these teams are the representatives for Group A, and we of course see them going up against another team. But I'm quite curious to see, of course, what these teams are going to be bringing in to the table here, just how they're going to be looking to step up and perform. And I mean, there's a little bit of space to catch up still. Looking at the players there from Team Somalia, of course, finding themselves currently positioned in that 8th place overall. That is I think that is the team out of the Group A that, of course, is leading the charge there, taking a nice little bit of a lead. But as we move on through, we see the teams from Group C also that will be represented here. Is going to be ATROX, it is going to be Seven Sins, Arts of Killing, as well as Aphelion Apex, Influence Rage Africa, Immortalz, Toxic Esports, Zero Tolerance Skills, and then, of course, the team from Rain from Hell. Now, as you've said before, we've got some familiar faces, some familiar teams on here. I can already see one name that I'm going to be leaving to Patchy to pronounce, as he does that so beautifully and effortlessly. That, of course, will be a choking point for me. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the teams are going to bring in. And if yesterday's games are anything to go by, today is going to be an absolutely banger of a day with the gameplay here. And I mean, you guys were talking about that clutch that we saw coming in the last match yesterday for Zero Tolerance, and now again today they have yet another opportunity to come out swinging. So it's going to be pretty exciting.
So I don't normally do this, but I have been asked to ask you guys, what is the team that you're each backing today? I'm going to start with you, DK.
Ooh, all right. So out of the list of teams we had on there, wow, you're putting me on the spot, but I'll go with Team Somalia.
Okay, I like that. I like that. I've been backing them since the previous season because I think they were some true underdogs coming through there towards that latter parts of season 3. They really just started popping off and showing us a completely different side of them. So I'm very keen to see them as well. Patchy, from your side, who are you backing?
That's kind of a difficult one, I think, because there's a couple of teams that I've backed yesterday that didn't really do what I expected them to do. So I feel like now, if I have to make a choice, I'm just gonna get disappointed. So maybe I'll just swing my finger around, and I'm looking at KHK maybe to see how they perform, but I don't want to lay anything down on KHK or Seven Sins AOK. Maybe I'll just go with Zero Tolerance. Yeah. We'll go with that.
Now, I'll put the pressure on our Nkosi teams. KHK, 7 Elsa Killing, I want to see them pop off today because we were waiting for that yesterday. We didn't get to see it. We were expecting it, but it didn't happen. So today, I'm hoping that we're going to be seeing some teams really pop off, and hopefully a little bit more on the normal side of things. Although yesterday we did see a lot of teams, unfortunately, not with their full rosters running, with a 3-man or a duo squad from the beginning, which obviously, I mean, that's a disadvantage to begin off with. DK, I mean, what's the mentality that you have to take as a team if you've got, only 3 members playing that evening, maybe even only 2, it's difficult. You're playing in a map of quads.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite a bit of a challenge seeing teams coming in not being able to apply the strategies that they've been working on, focusing on that squad play. But I think essentially it would be quite important for teams to move in to have a backup plan, to have like a 3-man strat and potentially even a 2-man strat if it comes down to that kind of position. But yeah, it's not the most ideal spot to be in. But I gotta say, we've seen some pretty insane plays coming in from trios and duos. So I'm not too faced, not too worried about the team's, odds of faring exceptionally well throughout the games. But of course, it has to come down to what kind of that mentality is, because this is only the first round, and this is not a sprint; it's a marathon. You got to try and slowly but surely look to build up that momentum, be it with 3 players, be it with a full squad. It's doable either which way, but ideally, full squads is kind of the way to go.
Yeah, of course. You want the best opportunities. You want the best possible chances going into these few maps because, as we mentioned, relegation is coming up. So, I mean, for the teams that are towards that, latter half of that scoreboard, they want to get themselves off of that page. And tonight could be the night that they do so. But with the plane locked and loaded and the players getting ready to jump out of their seats, I hope you are all watching at home and getting into your seats, getting comfy with your popcorn potentially, or your 2-minute noodles, as us casters do enjoy our 2-minute noodles. So make sure you sit down and relax as our co-pilots will be taking you through to Erangel. Guys, please take it away.
Thank you so much, S-Proxy. We are back into it. It's map number 1. It's Erangel. We are here for the second day of this week's games. We had some insane stuff coming off the back of yesterday, and hopefully the teams will be riding a little bit of that high. We want to see them get into the crazy action. Of course, we have our flight path moving over from Primorsk all the way up to above Severny, so a lot of that eastern side not going to be accessible straight off the bat, but hey, the teams can still rotate. There's nothing is off limits at this point. The only thing that saddens my heart, as it does every single time, is that Sosnovka military island doesn't look like it's going to get any love at all, which makes me cry every time.
Hey, but it's not to say just yet. Of course, we're still waiting to see where that first initial zone is going to be popping up, and who knows, maybe it shifts over on towards that southern edge. We've seen that sometimes come in with this flight path. And of course, the drum roll is starting right about now as we wait to see what that zone is going to bring. It moves all the way up in towards the north, so sadly, Patchy, you're going to have to stay sad for, well, this match as well. But I've got an important question for you, though, right? Ez was talking about the 2-minute noodles. So my important question is what's your favorite flavor?
My favorite flavor, damn. That's I really like the I think it's called Durban curry. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a really nice one. I think
like it hot?
I do. No, actually I don't. I'm not the kind of guy who likes the spicy food actually, but when it comes to the 2-minute noodles, I think that particular flavor is probably my favorite. Yeah. And and 2-minute noodles is a bit of a misnomer there. I think that's a little bit of a, we all know it doesn't take 2 minutes, all right? We all know it takes longer. Right? It comes out of the microwave after 2 minutes, but you have to prepare it beforehand and afterhand, so
yeah,
it takes a bit longer.
Well, hopefully we'll get some quick action, of course, coming into this first match. And already starting it off, we have a few teams dropping down in pretty close proximity. And this is now where I'm quite curious to see what exactly it is, the teams are going to be looking to bring into this first match. We've got the players here from Team Somalia, the team I'm rooting for today, up against the players there from Zero Tolerance, the team you are rooting for. So this is the clash of the casters here, Patchy.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. We'll see which one of us gets it right. Maybe they'll eliminate one another. It's something we saw yesterday, actually. We saw 4KT, and I think it was... I don't actually want to get this wrong. I believe it was Influence Rage, I think, that went head and head, and they were doing pretty well on the leaderboard before. And they wiped each other out, basically, in the beginning of the game, which yeah, it was kind of crazy because that left a huge power vacuum, and it allowed the teams to go a little bit ham, because there was no big chunky team to really control what was going on. So yeah, maybe that's going to happen again. Maybe we'll see the clash happening up here, up in North Georgia, of course, with that zone all the way up to the north. There's going to be so many teams that need to make that rotate, including BBC, who've all gone all the way over to their spot over in Malta, of course, as you expect of them. And of course, well, basically every team down into the to that southwestern corner also going to have to rotate on up. So we've got some potential for gatekeeping in the future. But for now, we'll have a look and see if any of these fights are going to happen. Because yesterday and basically throughout the season, we haven't really been seeing any priority for early control and early engagements.
I mean, speaking about control, but not necessarily engagements, but control, right? That position we see up in towards Severny, where we've got Mercury and Co just holding on there. I mean, that looks actually to be quite the favorable spot, seeing that it is smack dab center zone. They have the opportunity to set themselves in anticipation of teams starting to move in. And looking at that position of the zone being so far up in towards the north, quite a big chunk of that is going to be water. So I'm looking to see how the teams are going to be potentially rotating into the zone, taking some of those favorable spots. But before they get there, of course, they need to clear their way straight on through, make it all the way in. And I mean, BBC all the way over in towards Malta, that's actually also a pretty decent drop location to go for, taking into consideration where the zone is. Because they are completely uncontested. They can go about their business, get themselves set up for those phases, and then start rotating further up into wood zone. But if we look over on towards the eastern side, or western side rather, that is where we see the players there from Rain from Hell, and of course the team there from Aphelion Apex, sharing that space over in towards Hospital. Now, again, I'm curious to see what the teams are going to do. Are they going to play this kind of like we've seen them play it before? Or are they going to be looking to potentially step it up and just, bring that extra bit of spice along?
Yeah, I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. Most of the time, what I see is the teams like to sometimes just lay down a little bit of visibility towards one another, but they don't necessarily like to engage very early on. Rather just get themselves looted and ready to go. The only time that we actually saw that change was in game number 3 yesterday. For the Miramar game, where they actually decided to get busy a little bit earlier. There was some very early contention happening, but for the most part, it really does seem like the teams like to just get to a little bit of a slower start and make sure they have a bit more time to prepare and get ready, which that's well and good in its own right. But of course, we always have to bring it back to the fact that always makes the late game or the mid to late game that much more difficult, because then of course you have to worry about so many other teams in the general vicinity, and we've seen how that can go. It can really knock you off your game, really knock you off balance, or catch you off guard, because it doesn't matter how good you are as a team or as a player. If there's like 4 teams around you, it's you can't do that all.
Well, yeah, it becomes quite a bit of a challenge for teams to be successful in that. But I got to say, I'm looking at this slight advance coming through there from the side of INF. How do you pronounce that name, Patchy?
Which one?
That one. You can see the one that the one that I'm talking about.
Oh, you mean
yes. That's why I leave it for you. You're like, I'll just go and cue Patchy. Yeah, I'm just gonna slaughter that name if I try to pronounce it. But again, that could be quite the favorable spot. It's almost smack dab center zone. That hill, we've seen quite a few teams in past games really look to fight it out for control of that region. So I'm curious to see who's going to look to potentially challenge that. Meanwhile, we do see the players there from KHK also making their move. They've started over in towards Razak, now pushing up just a little bit further north. But we also see the players there from Unique also following along that route. And up comes Rainbow Six. Oh, nicely done. The shots finding their way straight on through. Oh, tries a bit of a crash. But up comes the spray. Mortal. Slow on point, quick reactions. And this could actually be quite a bit of a rip for the players here from Rainbow Six.
Yeah, I don't think that was going to work out for them at all. Zero Tolerance has been pretty strong so far in the season. Been doing pretty well. Of course, they're sitting quite high on that leaderboard as well. I believe they were in position number 3 at the moment. So definitely not a team that you want to try running over with a buggy. It's not going to go very well for you, and certainly it has not for Rainbow Six, who are in desperate need of some wins right now. I mean, Rainbow Six, they have really just needed to find something for themselves, and so far just hasn't worked out for them. They've just not been able to find their footing. So yeah, once again, it looks like they have only 1 player left, it seems. So that's a little bit of a tough one.
Ooh. Okay, so we're seeing quite a few interesting players coming through now. KHK and the players there from Unique. actually find themselves side by side. But speaking about interesting, we have the team there, of course, from Black Clover, I believe that is, all the way in towards that southwestern side of the map, just riding the blue zone. And a very comfortable shift actually coming in now for the zone, just centering up beautifully, not applying too much pressure rather to the team, so they can actually just continue with the strat they were looking to apply coming into this phase. But now it is a waiting game to see who's going to be the first team to budge. INF just looking to strengthen that position in smack dab center zone, and up in towards the north we actually saw the players there from Sincerity rotating out of Zaki, moving into a more centralized play. But here we go, Unique, sorry, getting ready to move up. Lewis just up ahead. Now, they've played some strong games coming into the last season of Umzansi. I'm curious to see whether or not the team's going to look to bring in any dynamics, any changes that could be favorable for them coming into this season.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We have to look and see what they're going to bring to the table, if they've got anything up their sleeve potentially. We have certainly been looking at teams like KHK and also waiting for teams like Unique. You know, we're having a look and seeing if the engagement is going to continue here for KHK. They've got, you know, they had a lot of expectations placed on them moving up into this season, and a lot of players that have seen them, or a lot of teams and fans even that have seen them play previously have really just been expecting good things from them, and so far they've not really disappointed. I mean, you know, we didn't expect them to come and just dominate absolutely everyone, but they have certainly done a very good job in keeping themselves up there with the best of them. I mean, being even in the top, that first page of the leaderboard right now is something that no one can scoff at this point. So there's really good jobs from teams like KHK, and that's why we were expecting things out of teams like KHK and 7AOK yesterday. And that's why, you know, we were kind of disappointed when we didn't see anything. So we're waiting today to see if they're going to bring in a little bit of that redemption. Speaking of which, we've got Rain from Hell, as you can see right here on the screen, taking up residence in this compound. Right up ahead of them, we got Team Somalia, who, of course, DK is keeping an eye on to see how are they going to do in this one. And it might just be a little bit of a fight. Team Somalia looking to see if they could potentially alleviate Rain from Hell out of this position.
Well, it's going to be an interesting one, definitely. There's no guess about that, as we can see Argus now getting caught out in the window. Our Chapo quickly just ducking back. But I'm curious to see definitely what both these teams are going to bring this season, because if we look back last time, the players from Team Somalia finished all the way over in 16th place in this first round. And then, of course, the players here from Rain from Hell stepped up and, well, they finished strong in 21st. So now, fresh season, fresh start, clean slate. Teams have that opportunity to bring in an even stronger game. But looking at the position, we currently see the players here from Rain from Hell in. I mean, it's a good spot to be, but Team Somalia, they're taking a really decent approach, covering so many possible angles and really making it difficult for Rain from Hell to get a clear line of sight. And already, Skulls coming under a little bit of pressure. There's Kingerman, finds the spray on N. He's starting to rotate up. I wouldn't be surprised if Team Somalia actually took this engagement.
Yeah, they have a pretty good setup here. I mean, they've got a nice spread, so it's not going to be easy to nade them out of position. They're going to have to use quite a few smokes if they want to block all of that off. So I think for the time being, yeah, Team Somalia has a pretty good point to attack from if they decide to attack. They're also in a good position to retreat if they don't want to press the attack, whereas Rain from Hell can't really do anything. If they decide to run away, Team Somalia can just swoop in straight behind them, take advantage of that positioning. So yeah, they really are in the favorable position right now. And you know, if they do decide to attack, they would be in a pretty good spot. I guess they're just waiting to see if they're going to be able to get a foot in the door, because right now that's really ultimately what it comes down to. Are they going to be able to find a knock? Can they find some damage? You know, can they get up close without you know, getting picked off one by one? That's going to be an important part. So yeah, they're just taking a look and seeing if it's going to be worth it to make the push, because of course, you know, you do have to weigh up the pros and cons of this one. You know, if we've seen a couple of pushes in the past that were a little bit brazen. All the elements were not taken into account, and they didn't really result very well for some of the teams. So they really are just taking their time, which is good to see. They're looking for something, and there it is. That's what they were waiting for. A nice knock onto Skulls. is going to be a little bit of damage done, and it's going to waste a little bit of Rain from Hell's time and potentially put them on a back foot, depending on what this happens right now. Team Somalia have decided to mobilize. In they go, straight up, no problem, all the way down on the accelerator. Now it's up to Team Somalia to make the attack. In they go, Neon takes some damage there in towards El Chapo. Neon does immediately get clapped back by Beast Mercury, absolutely hammering away in the kill feed as well. Rain from Hell trying their best to defend this position. Old Boy is going to be able to do the damage, and now Team Somalia in a very difficult spot as Zero Tolerance have come into the picture as well. So many teams in the surrounding area, the third party's going off, but it looks like Rain from Hell has been successful in their defense. Benji now off on the back line to try and throw those last 10-cent coins into the box, but it's not enough. Down they go. Team Somalia getting wiped out, and Rain from Hell successfully defending their position.
That was a beautiful play coming in from Rain from Hell. I mean, they just braced themselves so exceptionally well for that engagement coming in. And that, unfortunately, went a little bit south for the players there of Team Somalia. But now as we look back into the rest of the zone, we can see the players here now all looking to push in. BBC just positioning themselves slight bit away from that. Zero Tolerance taking occupation of the compound. But now INF also looking to move in from the south. So we could have a potential triangle of doom about to happen right here with, of course, 4 teams in there instead of having only 3. But it is what we want to see. We want to see that pressure. I mean, a square of doom just doesn't have the same ring to it, Patchy. A triangle of doom just sounds better, but we'll just change the shape.
It's a triangle of doom +1.
Yeah, some squiggly lines. That's what we got. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly do have some squiggly lines. As you can see right up in the screen is absolute chaos. We've got our triangle of doom +1 going ham in towards one another. The cover is very, very minuscule right now. We've got some rocks, we've got some smokes. Black Clover trying to survive under the relentless fire from all sides, but it's too much. Hainsley, man with the plan, doing some damage as per usual. We've got Scissors up in the kill feed as well, making it happen. Law with a nice slam dunk nade to just absolutely splash out the competition. And indeed, Black Clover on the back foot. Dagger is going to have to do quite a bit of work. BBC, good to see them in the fray. And in fact, they are inside the zone as well. So they've got some of that gatekeeping action right up ahead of them. Vibe, of course, getting taken down by Law, who's just been laying down the Law, if anything, at this point. So much damage done in the surrounding area. You can see Dagger is on the back foot right now, and all of the teams still on the outside of the zone have a lot of work to do to try and get past this line here that BBC have formed.
But this is where the pressure is on. I mean, Dagger going to be looking to potentially get a little bit stabby there as he makes his way onto the edge of zone. But BBC, as you pointed out, they just set up some beautiful positions up ahead. ATROX also now rotating in on towards this eastern side. If we look over towards the west, that's of course where we see Aphelion, Apex, and the team from Sincerity. Just sharing the space there. Not a lot of engagements coming through just yet, but of course their fights are coming in over on towards this eastern side, as we do see the players here from INF Influence Rage now trying to rage onto the players here from ATROX. And I mean, Soho already being knocked down. It now puts the pressure on I Am High as well as Pika to try and find those angles. Dead, meanwhile, getting picked up and just finding himself in such a tough position. But I'm surprised that Pika hasn't struck down just yet. Mercury now looking to just rotate in as well. Toxic rotating up the back end. But here we go. The spray down comes through with that. Pika gets picked right on up. And with that, the end of the players from ATROX. I mean, INF rather, on a really strong play so far. But will they be able to keep up this momentum as they now focus onto the players? We can see from Unique right alongside them. Sorry, already getting knocked right on down. Up comes the spray as Falak comes through. Oh, this could be a strong point for BBC, but will they be able to hold on?
Yeah, they have been in the fray right now for quite some time. It's been absolutely non-stop action here on the border of the zone. And of course, with the blue moving in, it is almost upon these teams. They have to make a quick decision to try and push in. They have no choice because otherwise they're going to be facing down the blue zone. We all know that over time, that blue zone always wins. Always, always, always. You want to find yourself inside that safety as soon as possible. And BBC are trying their best to make sure that doesn't happen. Dagger in a very, very difficult situation. 7AOK right behind him. We've got Keish on the one side as well, straggling to try and push through. We've even got influence Rage off to the side, making it that much more difficult for teams to pass by. Keishi's going to start winning the fight, but 7 AOK, they need to make a dash for it to try and get across that line. But oh no, there's too many players and teams ahead of them. They have walked straight out of the frying pan and into the fire, trying to make it pass as quickly as possible. At least one of them has made it through, but the other one just not in a position to do so. Keish going to make a desperate dash around. Not sure if he's going to make it. In the meantime, Snurra is going to put the shots in towards Mortal as well. The desperate dash for Keish has worked for now, but the other teams, the other players, not so lucky as they try and scramble across that line as the blue zone closes in with its merciless tendrils of death.
Oh yes, those tentacles of death. I mean, those are quite potent, as we've seen over the past few seasons. But this is now a pretty difficult position for Skydo to be playing. I mean, Vibes has been able to just get a slight tad bit ahead, but fortunately for them also, this is kind of the short edge of zone. So they don't have that much ground to try and cover to get all the way into zone. But HK are going to be looking to put up a bit of a defensive play. Oh, up comes the nades though. No need even for that, as a beautiful grenade gets sent up there from Vibes, bringing in the points for the players there from Zero Tolerance. With that, another spray down comes through on the side of BBC as Law just retains control of the edge, putting the dagger into dagger. Now it is playtime. BBC looking to just figure out where the rest of the teams are up ahead. We can see the players there from Seven Sins also just fairly still spread out. Cavera pretty close to the edge of zone, but is taking a bit of fire now as the team there from INF get ready to move on in. BBC also rushing up in towards zone. Only 10 teams now remain. Unique down to Cage, the last remaining hopeful. But the pressure is on. Will they be able to establish a decent spot? Hainsley, meanwhile, taking a little bit of prayer fire there as well. But up comes those plays. The smokes getting deployed. Prime holding on for Rainbow Six. Oh, but Falak steps up, tries to close it up on towards Cavera. Will he be able to get it done? It is that precious situation. Cavera, meanwhile, will get taken right on down. Blown up to smithereens as Law swoops in. Oh, there we go. Mercury coming under fire as well. And this is a beautiful back and forth, especially up in towards the northern edge of zone.
Yeah, it has just been non-stop action all across the border of this eastern portion of the zone. All of these teams scrambling around. I'm even surprised that so many of these players have made it so long. I mean, Mistre only now coming under fire, but he will be taken out immediately. Of course, BBC having relocated into a favorable position. Influence Rage also right up here on the edge of the zone, just keeping their safety for that much longer. We're down to 8 teams and 21 players right now as we move in from zone number 5 in towards number 6. Things are getting even more difficult. No teams will be able to try and fight inside of that blue. It is going to have to just be pushes non-stop, and you can see the cover is minimal at this point. We've got trees and Rain from Hell basically occupying the only visible compound right now, which is going to give them at least a little bit of an advantage for the time being. Right now, the teams have just congregated towards the outskirts, the perimeter of that zone. You can see a couple of teams just keeping their own at the moment. We've got a couple of stragglers around the border as well. So you can see Willie, Mr. Willie Leet, he's just chilling up here with the rest of his squad, ready to see if any of those players up ahead are going to decide to push. In the meantime, that's Keish getting taken out, so some stragglers getting eliminated as expected, and the zone shifting down towards the south, going to force out those rotates. BBC in the hot seat, need to make something happen. The rest of the teams also have to get themselves moving ASAP, but the question is, can they do it? We've got 6 teams remaining, but the bullets are still absolutely flying, and now BBC find themselves in between 2 very difficult choices. Can they move forward and challenge Rain from Hell, who have the dug-in position, or can they rotate around the perimeter and just go face first into all of those teams? So it looks like they've made a decision to try and fight Rain from Hell, but so far it isn't going very well for them.
Yeah, this is a really tough approach. I mean, it's a bit of a coin toss. If they rotate towards the south to try and sneak into zone, they're going to put themselves out in a very vulnerable position, but the north also not looking too ideal either way. Now, as we see the players from Sincerity looking to push on in, we do see Easy, of course, just bleeding out slowly. Of course, still has quite a bit of a ways to go, but the players here from Aphelion Apex putting up a good bit of a show on the edge of zone, finding head after head onto the side of Sincerity. Up comes Aimbot, trying to find that angle. Gets a little bit of damage, but the knock on Rusty. Now it is all riding on Kage to try and bring it in up on towards this western side. Fortunately for the side of Aphelion Apex, they did go in for a bit of a 2-2 split there. So they are able to provide quite a bit of coverage. But now, oh, this is where Willie could be biting the dust. The sprays comes through. Kage right up ahead. Aimbot and easy on the opposite end. Oh, jump shot. Willie nails it. Gets the job done, and with that, puts one of the players from Aphelion Apex right on down as Kage gets sent away. Cold now looking to push on in, but he needs to be so careful of Willie holding up behind the tree. You can hear those shots just ringing in. But up comes the advance. Pressure is on. Blue zone is closing up. Sincerity down to Willie. If Willie can get those raises in, it would be absolutely amazing for his team, but it's going to be such a difficult position. I mean, looking up a little bit further in towards zone, the players there from Rain from Hell actually find themselves in quite the favorable spot, Patchy.
Yeah, they certainly do, and you can see all of the teams are just fighting across the border. Aphelion Apex fighting to push away Sincerity, and indeed, they've managed to do so. Willie going to get eliminated right off the bat. 4 teams now, of course, remaining, and Rain from Hell, as you said, sitting in a little bit of a castle at the moment. The rest of the peasants scrambling to try and get a piece of that pie. Right now, it's just infighting between them. Aphelion Apex going to have to readjust their settings and try and take the fight against BBC. Of course, we got Vibes off in the distance there, struggling to stay alive, keeping the hopes and dreams of his team, maybe to get a couple more points for himself, maybe bump himself up into that quality position number 3. But right now, with that zone shift, Rain from Hell have been flushed out of their castle. They are going to have to rotate, and it's BBC who are now in the favorable position. Their HPs, however, not looking too good, but Rain from Hell, they've got the placement and they've got the numbers. They can just move straight on in whenever it suits them. Now with the rest of the rabble, it may not be as easy. You can see the stragglers all over the show. And they're going to have to make some tough decisions very soon. Sicko putting the shots in and just nailing that coffin shot. Sins will be shut down in 4th position. Vibes not going to be given any more room to budge. Aphelion Apex now having to make that rotate up into the zone. Are going to have to come face to face with both Rain from Hell and BBC. Who is going to be able to take the chicken? Right now, Rain seem to be in the best contention to do so.
Oh, but I'm quite surprised to see BBC not jumping at the opportunity of getting those shots up into Rain from Hell. But I spoke to as soon as Law steps up to speak over the ridge line and finds the head straight up in towards him. But this is where the players from Rain from Hell find themselves in quite a difficult position, actually, because the Aphelion Apex coming in from that western side could be looking to alleviate a lot of the pressure, and BBC could potentially just sit back and ride this wave through. But of course, we now are down to 7 remaining players. We can see 3 for the side of Rain, 2 for BBC, and 2 for Aphelion Apex. But BBC, they've got this ridge line. They can really utilize this and just capitalize on that element of surprise. And it's going to make it so difficult for Rain from Hell to actually try to defend this position. Apex finding themselves in a very similar kind of position as the team from BBC. They can slowly just inch their way up using that ridge line as a beautiful bit of hard cover. But now, as we can see, Sicko finds Argus right there alongside him. And once that smoke starts to dissipate, that is when the guns are going to start blazing on through. Also, this 8th phase is about to be right upon us. And whoever this shifts up to, they're going to have to just defend this as best they can and hold on to this position.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, but luckily for whoever gets the chicken, they've been split down the middle here. Argus is going to find some good shots into Sicko, instantly goes for the thirst, knows how important it is to shut that down and give no opportunities for the comeback. Cold, of course, has been isolated towards the back. Rain from Hell needs to be picked apart by both Aphelion Apex and BBC at the same time, but I'm not sure if they're going to have the mental telepathy to make that happen right now. Skull's doing some sneaky crawling right up to BBC. That might just be the final nail in the coffin. Skull finds Law, and that might just be it. Instantly goes for the thirst as well. Nahal now the only one left. This looks like a surefire win for Rain from Hell. Certainly, they might just be able to do it. Up goes Skull, jumping around, but he is going to get taken out by Nahal. He's fighting for his life, tooth and nail. The rest of Rain from Hell going to have to make something happen. But Cole is still on the back line. He's still a problem. They have to deal with him if they want to secure this chicken for themselves. Rain from Hell still have a bit of work to do. Nahal is not out of this fight just yet. It's a 2v1v1 situation now as that 8th zone does roll on in and start closing up in mere moments, pushing these teams even closer towards one another. Crawling through the grass is all they can do because there's no choice. There's no cover. All they have to do now is face down the barrel of that gun and hope that those shots land. Right now, Cold crawling up very slowly. Nihal has no more HP left. It just has to toss those nades, just has to hope that Cold is on the same wavelength if they want to take down Rain from Hell right now. August just chilling in the bush, doing all some sniper secret stealth builds right here. Cold creeping up slowly. Who's going to pull the trigger first is the question. The smoke separating Old Boy and Nihal will eventually dissipate, and somebody has to pull the trigger first. Question is, who's it going to be?
Oh, it's going to be so close. That zone also now closing in. Oh, there we go. Cold now trying to do a bit of fishing. Up comes Argus. Down he goes. The blue zone closing in right behind him. Oh, tries to get the confirm, but unfortunately for him, Argus just moving up. But there we go. The confirm comes through for Cold. It is now a 1v1v1. The health boss definitely looking in favor there of Old Boy. But the pressure is on. The first player to get spotted here will be the one to fall next. Cold just holding on to the edge of the smoke. Doesn't want to give up his position just yet, but we are now in a bit of a stalemate, a bit of a standoff. As we know, this is the 9th phase. And there, of course, is going to be no more phase after this. This is the final show.
Oh, yeah, it certainly is. We're down to our final triangle of doom, but we've got lots of rolling around in bushes going on. Old Boy, he likes the feel of those leaves. He likes the secret stealth build that it gives him. But is it going to be enough to get him that win? Right now, the HP is not looking good for Cold or Nihal, as you mentioned. But if both of them stand up at the same time, they might just be able to do enough damage. Or if they bob and weave around those bullets, and maybe they've got something. Cold juicing himself back up to full health, or at least as close to possible to get that. He just has to make this happen. He just has to take the chance. Is he going to find Nihal first, or is he going to go for Old Boy? Right now, that choice is going to be huge in deciding who comes up first. But up he stands. He's going to make it, just nailing it towards the bush, but he's going to get immediately clapped back. But it's done enough damage that Old Boy is now below Nihal in HP. The sacrifice from Cold is going to mean that Nihal can stand up and finish it, and he will. Instant chicken dinner off the back of that. Some selfless plays coming out of Aphelion Apex, deciding to make that push. Cold getting that kill and sacrificing his life for BBC to take that chicken away, steal it away from Rain from Hell, who find themselves in position number 2.
Oh, that was absolutely beautiful coming in from BBC, finishing pretty strong, though, on a 14-kill match. I mean, we saw some pretty impressive kills coming off the back of yesterday's games, but it looks like the teams rather are looking to continue with the momentum and just push so strong coming back into the next day of play. But what an exciting match. A little bit of Russian roulette coming into that last zone, but man, it's working out so great for BBC.
I just love how every single team that we mentioned that we are backing didn't end up in the top 3, but it's okay.
Let it be known that I was going to back BBC.
Yeah, but we know you're always backing BBC in the back of your minds, which is what I was going to say. I'm sure that they received all the patchy points they needed for finally coming up with that winner chicken dinner. You have been screaming the name BBC since the beginning of the season, so I'm happy it's finally come to fruition, Patchy. Congratulations. BBC has taken their W of the day, and so far the second day of this week is proving to be very interesting. I feel like we keep thinking, the generic, oh, it's going to be XYZ that's going to come through, and then it's a completely different team that we didn't even have on our radar that comes to surprise us. So you can see competitiveness, it hasn't stopped here in the Umzansi Season 4, and these teams are gunning for those points to push them up on that leaderboard to secure themselves a spot in the next phase of this season. And so far, I think they've been doing a pretty good job. DK, what's your thoughts on that game that we just witnessed?
It was insane. I mean, we saw some pretty interesting strats getting deployed, especially at the end. I mean, BBC, they held up so strong. I was kind of surprised that Rain from Hell wasn't able to capitalize on the numbers advantage they had coming into that phase. They looked so strong. They looked like they had everything together. But unfortunately, they just weren't able to find the angles coming in on towards Aphelion, Apex, and BBC. And at the end of the day, BBC stepped up, didn't stand up, but stepped up and just, found the shots.
I mean, that's all you have to really do in PUBG Mobile. If it works out for you, it works out for you nicely. Patchy coming through, of course, BBC running away with quite a number of kills there on the first map. And I mean, based on what we saw them, where they were sitting on those standings, how do you think this is going for them? Do you think we're going to see more of this tonight?
Well, I certainly hope so. One of the things that I've been really interested in over the last few seasons is actually watching BBC progress as a team. It's been very interesting. And one of the things that they showed us in the previous season, their season number 3, was that they could contend with some of the top teams and they could actually play in different ways. And of course, moving into the standings, you can see the result of that. BBC taking 29 points, almost doubling their chicken dinner with just kills, which is absolutely nuts. I certainly hope that we'll see that replicated. BBC certainly have a lot more to offer than just a once-off, one-hit wonder style play. But in any case, moving down the rest of the leaderboard of its Rain from Hell in position number 2 with 20 points for themselves. Aphelion Apex, of course, taking position number 3 after their sacrifice. They're 18 points for them. Zero Tolerance coming in 4th position with 13 points. So still the team that I'll just plug myself here. I backed this one. I said they were going to do pretty well. Yeah, top 4, we'll take it. 13 points there. Sincerity Esports in position number 5 with 10. Influence Rage Africa in position number 6 with 8 points. Toxic Esport with 4 points in 7. Team Unique with 3 points in 8. So you can see the points disparity once again absolutely ginormous there for those top 5 teams. Of course, moving on to the second page, it's Seven Sins AOK in position number 9 with 3 points. And then with 2 points each, it's Rainbow Six Madagascar, Immortalz, KHK Esports in positions 10, 11, and 12. And then, of course, Black Clover and ATROX coming away with 1 point in 13 and 14, with Team Somalia coming away with nothing. So DK falling a little bit flat there on the predictions, but it's okay. We still have two matches left.
Look, it's not just DK. I mean, the teams that I backed are also on this page, so it's okay, DK. We can get redemption on Sanhok. Okay,
it's fine. I mean, just wait. You'll see.
No flames, but my prediction stats are pretty good right now.
Yeah.
Okay. No one's counting. No one's counting. DK, if you would please take us through the MVP.
Oh, our MVP is Mr. Law, laying down the law all the way to the finish. I mean, he finished strong, as we can see. 9 kills on board. Absolutely phenomenal play coming through. Of course, Nihal was the one to find the finishing blow, but Law just ripped the lobby apart. 9 kills, 705 damage dealt in 25 minutes, and a lovely 35-second survival time. So, yeah, a pretty strong performance coming in from the side of BBC. And I actually was surprised not to see Law make it into that final zone. I mean, but well done either way to Nihal for finding the hits. There's nothing wrong with the winner chicken dinner.
It's not the first time that we've seen Nihal actually just hold it down there for BBC. I think the last time we saw him, he was ratting it out in the blue zone on Sanhok. So potentially next time on Sanhok, we might see the exact same thing. But for the time being, we're going to go to a very short break. So make sure you get those 2-minute noodles. Durban curry flavored is sponsored there by Apache. So he does recommend that one. Otherwise, get your popcorn, get your drinks, get ready for more PUBG Mobile action when we come back. See you later. Welcome back, everyone, to Umzansi Season 4. And of course, we just seen the end of Erangel for today. And yeah, no, our predictions are just not on point today. We're going to stop doing that. But we're going to take a look at the standings and see what did happen and see why you were so incredibly wrong. Patchy, if you would, please take us through those standings just briefly.
Yeah, look, I mean, we had a bit of a crazy ending there towards game number 1, but after the Triangle of Doom resolved itself, we found out the BBC had basically doubled their points in kills as well, with 29 total points to get them up to position number 1 for that game. Of course, Rain from Hell taking position number 2 with 20 points. Aphelion Apex in position number 3 with 18. We got Zero Tolerance Skills in 4 with 13. Sincerity Esports in 5 with 10. Influence Rage Africa in position number 6 with 8 points. Toxic Esports with 4 points in 7th place. Of course, Team Unique in 8 with 3 points to round out the first page of the leaderboard. Of course, heading into the second page, 7sins AOK taking up 9th with 3 points. We've got Rainbow 6, Madagascar, Immortalz, and KHK with 2 points each in 10, 11, and 12. Of course, Black Clover in 13 with 1, as well as ATROX 1 point in 14th. To round things out, Team Somalia taking 15th position with 0 points. An unfortunate end to them in the beginning of that game, but certainly they have 2 more games up ahead of them to rectify the situation. One of them, of course, being right here, right now. That is Sanhok, which is going to be pretty interesting.
Again, for those of the viewers that are watching potentially from Jinx or from YouTube or from Facebook, you know, all the platforms that we do stream through the weekend. So if you want to go check out those platforms, you should, and more information can be found on Northern Gaming Africa. Anyway, for those people who are not, really familiar with Sanhok, what are some of the differences we normally see moving on from Erangel to Sanhok? How do the teams adapt to those changes?
Well, Sanhok is usually a much smaller map in comparison to the lovely Erangel. But of course, it is also a match that allows for a lot more close quarter combat, teams to really get a lot more aggressive. But in saying that, it's also a map on which teams get punished way more for any small mistakes they make positionally. And if they leave one of their sides a little bit too open, that is where we could see those third parties, fourth parties, just one big party happening as the teams start hacking away at each other. So it's going to be a pretty hot and sweaty map, and it's going to be quite exciting to see, of course, what the teams are going to bring on that.
That's what we're hoping for. We're hoping that some of these teams are going to be picking up their weight in Sanhok and have an opportunity to, still maybe a few kills here and there. Maybe just make sure that the points distribution is a little bit more even moving into Sanhok. Although we've seen a few teams before being very greedy and running away with half of the lobby kills. So it's not like it's completely, set in stone. We still might see a little bit of a surprise coming through, and maybe another team that we weren't thinking about today will be taking that winner chicken dinner. But we're gonna have to sit and wait and find out, because for a lot of these teams it is getting closer and closer to that relegation point. I think we've got another 2 sets of weekends coming through, and then bam, if you didn't make it off that last page, you're done, you're dusted, you're out of Umzansi Season 4. So the pressure is starting to build up. We're roughly at that halfway point now. So for a lot of these teams, they should be picking it up here. Patchy, any advice that you would give to some of the teams, or any teams in particular that they need to be focusing on both those placement and kill points this game?
Yeah, I think for a lot of teams, they've been playing sort of standard, normal, traditional, whatever you want to call it, generic, but it doesn't seem to be working out for them. And whether that's because our top performers are doing really well right now, or just because the strategy isn't working out for them, it doesn't really matter. I think that the time is now to switch it up a little bit, try something new, or maybe try your strats that you haven't tried yet. Some of the ones at the back of the strat book, some of the more risky ones, the more risk for more reward. I think that's now is the time to really go for that, because we've tried the normal, we've tried the standard setups, we've tried the standard play, it hasn't really worked out. Let's try risk it for the biscuit and go for some bigger rewards.
Well, you heard it here first. The BBC fanboy is telling you to go big or go home. Sanhok is officially starting. The players are getting ready to show us the talent in Africa. So I'm going to give it over to our wonderful casters, Patchy and DK, to take you through all the action as it pops up on your screen. So make sure you enjoy, because this is Umzansi Season 4. Guys, take it away.
Thank you so much, S-Proxy. It is map number 2. We're heading into Sanhok. Of course, we've got that flight path taking us all the way down there. Not too much of a problem. The map is small enough that most of the spots are easily accessible. The real question is, where does that zone drop, and are these teams going to be caught out of position? Right now I see quite a number of teams heading down towards the south, and that might just be a little bit of a trigger. Maybe we'll see some fights break out straight off the bat. And oh, look at that zone. Spicy stuff.
Me likey a lot, Patchy. Me likey a lot.
Me too.
This is gonna be a very interesting play. But of course, the players there from ATROX already finding themselves in a favorable position up in towards hut 10. Now the pressure is going to be on, looking to see whether or not they'll be able to maintain and also, establish some dominance up in towards zone. But as we jump straight up into Painan, this is where Team Somalia and the players from Zero Tolerance find themselves side by side sharing the compound here. But this is, of course, going to be resulting in some pretty crazy plays, as we've seen both these teams be quite aggressive. But now is the time to see who's going to be the team to hold on to Painan.
Bit of deja vu, actually. I think this is the exact same setup we had in map number 1 with Team Somalia right up here in the faces of a tall opponent right now. Seven Sins AOK have got a lot to prove because they certainly haven't been putting in the performance that we've expected either yesterday and now today. Trying to replicate some, trying to get some success going for them. Of course, Team Somalia not ready to hit the dust just yet, but he's trying to make something happen. Hate, in the meantime, has found Kingman, so this is very, very difficult now for quite a few teams who are getting straight into the battle. El Chapo now pushing on up, and Seven Sins has been separated bit by bit. This res should be able to come through here, although it has been restarted, which is a problem. I don't think it's actually going to come through. El Chapo putting on too much pressure. Now up he comes, but instantly Team Somalia has just too many angles covered. Seven Sins AOK, and they will get taken out. That's not a good start to map number 2. Certainly, they're going to be feeling that one.
Yeah, that is quite a bit of a tough spot to be in. But now the question is, where are these teams going to rotate? Because we know that zone is all the way over on towards the northwestern side. But what's also quite important is the teams don't get caught out by that lovely blue zone. Because that's what we see actually happen quite a bit on the map here of Sanhok. And now, as we look on towards that potential angle over in towards Bootcamp, we see the players there from Team Unique just making their way over on towards that trifecta side. But 7 arts of killing, 7 sins arts of killing are right there, hard on their heels, looking to move in behind them. And who knows, maybe they could find themselves in a favorable spot and actually just, get a bit of that surprise element working in their favor. Of course, the team there from Black Clover also going to be rotating on towards that northwestern island. But on a map like Sanhok, Patchy, this is where positioning is absolutely essential. The sooner you can get in zone and get yourself set up, the more you can capitalize off of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with the fast pace, they really can catch up on you with this particular map, so you've got to get yourself in there as quickly as possible right now. Seven Sins putting some shots across the way in towards Unique there. A little bit of damage has been done. Sorry, trying to skip across, but oh, look at that. Those laser beam shots just doing so much damage. Keish now running up the side of the bank to try and join the rest of the team. Exists all the way here on the other side. Is not really going to be able to get into position just yet. The rest of the team just hovering around this particular point. We've got Breno just keeping an eye on them, making sure they don't go anywhere just yet. So it's good to see the teams are getting a little bit active nice and early, although I hope that we see a bit more than just one team being eliminated here on this map. It is of the utmost importance that you take out as many teams as early on as possible, because if you thought the map number 1 was crazy with all the teams and all the angles, this map is like 100 times crazier when it comes to that, because it's just a lot smaller and you have to be so careful to not get overwhelmed.
Yep, that is where those angles are going to be pretty essential to have them covered. And now, as we look onto the players here from Unique, we can see they've already started to take a little bit of damage. Black Clover finding themselves in an interesting split here. They're coming up with a bit of a 2-1-1 play with Dagger, one of the players right on the front line. And Keish now trying to sneak his way on through. Of course, Yuhai getting taken right on down. So now the side of Black Clover getting reduced down to only 3 remaining hopefuls. And if Unique play this one well, Patchy, they could actually sneak on in and put, or rather send the players from Black Clover back into the lobby fairly early on.
Yeah, they certainly could. I mean, they could drive a wedge here between Dagger and the rest of the team, which might just be a problem for them. It might just make them second guess what they can do. But Dagger has spotted out exist. Could be a problem. Shots going through, but none land. That's given away his position as well. The rest of Team Unique can probably make something happen off the back of that. Keish has his crosshairs directly in towards where Dagger was, but just at the right moment, Dagger chooses to run across, but now he's exposing himself on the road, and that is just not the right decision to make. Immediately going to get taken down. Dagger falls next. Federal trying to put some shots in towards Azuri. This is a back and forth between these two teams. And Black Clover put in the necessary damage. Team Unique now pushing on up to the compound, but is it secure at the moment? Dagger is down, so of course the rest of the team has to come to the rescue. I'm not sure if they're in the position to do so. Unique can probably run away with this one. The Thirst, of course, coming through, no problem for Exist, and the rest of the Black Clover team just huddled up on top of the hill with not too much to do.
I'm actually quite surprised to see Black Clover Vibe actually rotating off a little bit. This is such a strong position for Federal to be in. He can gather so much information from the top. This heel's got decent hard cover, so he knows he's got his angles covered. I would ideally have liked to see Vibe right there alongside him, as Vibe can now get singled out and just picked up potentially on that off angle. I mean, the plays here from Unique, they're stepping up, they're using this play to work so much in their favor. And this is where Black Clover needs to play this one almost to textbook perfection.
Yeah, for sure. They've got to make something happen here. They missed the opportunity to try and get down and, make it happen. But Federal, those are some absolutely surgically precise shots coming off the top of that hill, which is huge. Black Clover here. That's quite a big knock to get. They've actually split up Unique very, very well. And actually trying to put some more damage into those two players at the back. So Unique are in a very difficult spot. Exist has to go and try and get the reses up. But with Federal being so precise right now, this is going to be a difficult dash. Exist has to make sure that he doesn't expose himself for too long. He is aware of the threat. Is it going to be enough? No, Federal, he just keeps tapping away, and he's just going to get rewarded with 2 free kills. And Exist, there's nothing he can do. That is a very, very unfortunate for Team Unique. But for Black Clover, that's exactly what they needed. Those are the kind of shots that will reward them in the long run.
Yeah, but this is now where Vibe needs to start stepping up to the party as well. Because Federal's holding a beautiful angle, but ideally Vibe should look to play into the strength of the information they're able to gather there and just utilize that, get that squad wipe done. But of course, now we see a few rotations also finding their way on through. 2 teams positioned down in towards the far south, but up in zone. Of course, we see the players there from INF now looking to defend against the team from Sincerity as they're moving in from that eastern side. Rain from Hell right there alongside them. Oh, we do see the engagements, of course, happening in the south as the Immortalz are trying to have a bit of a splash. But Toxic also meeting their end up in towards the lovely northeastern edge. But Rain from Hell could actually look to capitalize on that surprise element. Meanwhile, Aphelion Apex, they're just going to be cruising along casually.
Yeah, doing a little bit of sailing as one does when there's open water. One of the things we actually haven't been able to have a chance to mention right now is the fact that those 2 bridges are just going to be absolutely huge for the rotations eventually if the zone does decide to move a little bit more to the west, because of course so many teams actually dropped to the east. They were all forced west because of that zone. Now they're actually heading on towards that island, the Camp Alpha Island. And, well, those bridges have become a little bit of a point of contention. Rainbow Six, of course, the first to cross that western bridge, and the rest of them off towards the east could potentially do some damage to the teams that are trying to cross over that river. And maybe we'll see some really intense gatekeeping if this zone continues to shift hard west.
Well, speaking about hard west, that is exactly what's in store for the side of BBC, as they too are bringing in a bit of a rotation. Fortunately, this is not Erangel, but hey, you know, BBC doing some BBC things here. We've seen some interesting plays come from that. And now, speaking about interesting, Rogue, just enjoying the sun, just basking a little bit. Meanwhile, the players there from INF holding up the top of that ridge, and the zone shifts up once again, staying up in towards the trifecta. Now, I'm curious to see what the players there from the 7 odds of killing are going to be doing, the 7 sins. Are they going to utilize that boot camp and look to potentially move on to that edge of the coastline? Because we can see the zone looking a little bit trying. But, you know, it all comes down to how they look to play that. Meanwhile, Aphelion Apex will find a successful rotation up into the zone. But Rainbow Six has also moved up. So this could be quite an interesting engagement that could come from this.
Yeah, certainly could be. And this next zone rotation is actually going to be huge for these teams, because some teams might just get isolated from their positions, because you can see there's like 3 or 4 teams down towards the island on the south. We've got 7AOK on the east, And then, of course, we've got a bunch on the north. So depending on where it goes, some teams might just get isolated, and that could be a problem. Speaking of problems, KHK is proving to be a little bit of a problem for Sahil. Immortalz getting eliminated there towards the back with some very clean long-range shots there from Pennywise. 12 teams remaining there, 40 players left alive. BBC doing what they do best and also taking the long way around this time. They're not alone, of course, Aphelion Apex having very shortly done the same thing, but this time BBC taking the northern rotation. They're out to do a little bit of sightseeing and hopefully bit of fishing. If you ask me, the biggest travesty in this game is that not enough people spend their good time out on the ocean.
Yeah, it is a bit of a rip, and of course, what other map to do it on other than the ever lovely Sanhok? I mean, you've got some great water plays, a nice river flowing in between the maps, so you got pretty good access to a lot of these points. And now it is down to a waiting game. And I'm actually quite surprised to see that we don't have any teams really establishing themselves in that centralized zone. Yes, the team from INF are advancing towards the bridge, but the hilltops just over towards that eastern side is completely open for the taking. And I'm hoping to see some teams potentially moving up into that region. It's also going to be interesting to see where the zone will be shifting to. But here we go. ATROX finding themselves fairly close to BBC. BBC just dropping anchor on the edge. I'm surprised that ATROX hasn't looked to the water. They should know by now, if BBC is on the map, look to the water. That's probably where you'll find them.
Yeah, these guys are like pirates. They just swoop in and steal all your stuff, and that's definitely not what you want in this particular situation. The team's now scrambling around. You can see Rainbow Six trying to contend with Aphelion Apex, who just dropped in from the sky to try and take them out of this position, root them out of this position. So far, it's working pretty well. But can they be shut down? Optimus now swooping in to save the day. Is it going to be enough? He can get this res in, but Cold is going to slip by as well because some reason he didn't go for that thirst. You would think that maybe he goes into the thirst first, and that might just come back to bite him because Sicko is here to try and lay those shots down, and this might just be it. A bit of a bad decision. Prime is going to get taken down bit by bit. Oh man, Aphelion Apex just coming off the biggest question in my mind right there was, why on earth did they go for that thirst? If they had taken Cold down, they could have retreated or something, but instead they just get taken down. And what an unfortunate situation. And speaking of unfortunate situations, BBC is now here to dish Aphelion Apex some of their own medicine.
Yeah, but that's also ATROX moving in from the north. So Apex, could they find themselves in quite the predicament if they're not careful? I mean, ideally we'd want to see them get into some hard cover to just try and strengthen those positions. And that is exactly what happens. Pika moves in, finds the first knock. But now it's all down to Sicko. Will he be able to make any play here? Oh, needs to be so careful because they are looking towards BBC as well as ATROX. And ATROX can now just ride the storm, come rushing in. And they too could also find a beautiful finish onto the side of Apex.
Yeah, that is very true. BBC actually deciding to stay off the back for this one. They're just going to chill out in the water for the time being, which is great. You know, I like to go for a swim myself, especially now that it's turning spring where I'm staying. So, you know, we get it. We jump in the water. We like to chill a little bit, you know, stave off the heat for the day. And BBC, they've decided to do the same. But for Aphelion Apex, they might just be under fire and they don't have any water to jump into, because otherwise they will basically immediately die. So they have to be super, super careful about this one. ATROX slowly advancing up the mountain, giving them a pretty good position. Pika sitting right on the top, waiting to see if anyone's going to peek their heads out. You can pick them off and just pop them one by one, because there's only two players right up ahead of him, and he's got that height advantage for now.
I'm waiting for that thunderbolt to come in, you know?
Yeah.
From Pika.
Well, I mean, there's no clouds really pulling over, so I don't expect thunder and lightning today.
Well, Pika doesn't need thunderclouds for that, you know? Yeah. Just pulls it in from the tail. That's kind of how it swings. And yeah, we got to wait and see exactly what the players here from ATROX are going to be planning for this. Are they going to look to move? Because the longer they wait, the more opportunity Apex has to get themselves set up in anticipation of this. And already we can see Sicko keeping a very watchful eye on that ridge line, trying to see if he can spot anyone up top. Dead. It's going to try and wrap around. Now, this could actually be quite an interesting play for ATROX. If they continue to move on, okay, no, it seems like they're disengaging, moving a little bit further up in towards the zone. Okay, so it's not the worst play. I think it's a fairly decent call. I mean, yeah. Okay, so that was a really good call, rather. Not a okay goal. That was a really good one. Seeing that the zone has shifted up over on towards that far eastern side, they now need to prioritize zone placement over looking to get a few kills along the way. But now, this is where the players from Unique could actually look to bring in a bit of a stance, as they have a fairly decent position up in towards trifecta. Not the most ideal, but it's there. It's good. But it's going to be quite challenging for the players here from INF and, of course, the team from Team Somalia.
Yeah, Team Somalia still in this one, still fighting to make something happen. And we've got Hainsley just chilling, making sure he's got a watchful eye out on the horizon to make sure nobody comes in. Surprisingly, you can see down in the south looking absolutely packed. BBC now moving up onto the land to try and get into that zone. Going to meet KHK head on, but KHK, they're separated at the moment. So Pennywise is going to have to do quite a bit of fighting if he wants to stay alive here. Else he's going to have to run away very, very quickly because BBC is knocking on the door. They want to get into the zone. And those nades are absolutely flying. KHK going to have to come in with the backup. Snurra on the back line, certainly running in to assist. BBC doing a spread out. Make sure they don't all get naded out of existence too quickly, but they have to be careful because, of course, that blue zone is moving in and they're not over the line just yet. Oh, KHK going in for a flank as well. This might be a tough fight for BBC.
Oh, there we go. Pennywise gets picked up. Lord sneaking up the edge. Now the pressure is on to Snorra and Lewis. Will he be able to get it in? Zone closing up. There we go. Snorra Strux. Oh, there we go. Come on. Are they continue with the flow? Yes. Down goes Falak. It is up to Lord. Blue zone swooping in. It is the fourth phase. Snorra. There we go. Jerbot picking up the spray, and with that, sending the players from BBC backing. But now, KHK need to be so careful. Team Somalia right there alongside them, as well as the team coming in from Influence Rage. Let's see, will Snorra find a good approach? He could be surprised somewhat by that off angle coming in from the side here of Influence Rage. But Mercury and Mr. Scissor just holding on there. I can't say it as beautifully as you can, Batchy, but I try. Yeah. And now it is on for Snorra and Lewis to find that approach, that angle up into zone.
Yeah, absolutely. KHK with a good hold on things, being able to take BBC out and advance forward. Now, still inside the zone, they're looking okay for the time being. Team Somalia off in the distance as well. Everyone coming in to the zone. Pika off in the distance. Scissors is going to try and make something happen, or Scissors, as he likes his proname. You know, you got to get the enunciation and, of course, the emphasis right as well. Looking to see if he can put any shots down into the remaining area. One of the interesting things about this zone is the fact that they're going to be fighting over a lot of water, a lot of rivers and rivulets. See Cold swimming about there, Aphelion Apex still in the fight, but they might just get wiped out very, very soon because, of course, Influence Rage right up ahead of them. Cold actually seeing how long he can hold his breath here. We'll get out a timer and see how long he can do that for. And for the time being, Aphelion Apex just hiding in the river, making sure they don't get picked off. So Scissors has taken a lot of damage off towards the side. KHK now moving through as well. Jerbot going to put the shot straight into Sicko, and the thirst comes through as well. That's KHK picking up Aphelion Apex. Cold now coming out of the water, but immediately clapped by Influence Rage. So nice shutdown coming through there. KHK off on the side. Influence Rage, they've got complete control of this compound here. We've got 9 teams and 26 players remaining. We're moving in from zone 4 towards zone number 5. So things are going to get nice and spicy from here on out.
I like the display coming in from Rain. They're looking to rain down on the team from ATROX just down below. You see Big Undead and the rest of the team, but of course the sprays come up in towards the side here of Argus. Now the pressure is on for Neon and Old Boy to try and hold on, but Skulls coming up with a bit of a flank off the end. Pika, meanwhile, will get picked up. Now the pressure is on. I am Hani and Dead up ahead. What's going to happen? Neon, ooh, just powering up a little bit. We can see those the flames really starting to catch up, but Dead coming up with a quick rush. Nice bit of aggression coming in from the side of ATROX, but will it work out in their favor up against Neon? Skulls holding that off angle. There we go. Come on. Yes. Oh, Dead. So close to Dead. What's going to happen? Skulls finds the shot. Nice. ATROX down to 1 remaining player. And that, of course, is Soho on the opposite end, but he finds himself in another position. As you can see, of course, the players from INF holding up right alongside him. He's going to be so careful. It could go from Soho to OO and then a goodbye.
Soho to and oh no, indeed, ATROX going to fall one by one as Rain from Hell come down from the mountain. Jerbot going to get taken out there as Team Somalia laying down the fire. Soho, of course, having to do quite a bit of work if he wants to stay in this because he can't assist his team whatsoever. And now he's under some serious pressure from Influence Rage. Jerbot, of course, going to get taken out along with the rest of them up on that mountain. Rain from Hell just going to pick those up courtesy of Soho being on the opposite side of that river, which is really unfortunate for him. Of course, now as we move into Zone 5 and things get closer in towards Zone 6, team's going to have to rotate once again, and the only team that's in there right now is Team Somalia. Of course, Influence Rage making their way in as quickly as possible, but Nico wants to go and fetch Soho, potentially. No, just going to turn around. In the meantime, Rain from Hell just gets eliminated instantly as Unique catch them on that rotate, but now it's on them to rotate as well. Sincerity getting eliminated off on the one side as Rogue gets taken down. We've got 7OK on the east. They've got complete control of that side of the map. Team Somalia down in towards the south is going to have to meet up with KHK, who's trying to scramble in to get themselves across that line. You can see everyone is now fighting with the blue, which you absolutely do not want to be doing right now. So this is still alive off on the coastline. He's going to be putting his crosshair out to see if he can capture any of those cheeky teams rotating, but I don't think he's going to have to even bother because Exist is just going to get eliminated by the blue zone. And sorry, might just join him very, very swiftly. And that is what happens when you get caught on the heels of the Sanhok blue zone.
Yeah, it is quite a difficult wave to ride. But now, as we move into our next phase, it of course is that sixth phase. We can see the players there from Team Somalia now going up against the side of Seven Sins. But it's going to be quite a bit of a fight. Soho, Solo, trying to push in to get it done. Oh, just narrowly making it in, but right alongside him is Snorra. Oh, Snorra's got full health bars. He's waiting for the opportunity. I'm pretty sure that Snorra has spotted Soho moving in. Yes, indeed. Sends the first grenade on through. Is he going to send another? Yes, he does. And with that, Snorra picks up a beautiful kill onto Soho. But now the blue zone is moving in, so Snorra needs to get up. No more snaking around. He needs to make a run for it, but up ahead, INF lying in wait. 4 teams remain. And this is going to be a pretty tough play, but Lewis already starting that heal strat. Team Somalia looking strong, 7 odds. They're also looking fairly decently set up in towards the south. Snorra getting spotted out there by Benji as we can see the sprays come through, but this is where Team Somalia needs to be very, very careful of this position. Seeing that they have the players there from Seven Sins holding right alongside them.
Yeah, right now it's a tough situation. 7AOK under fire from Hainsley, who's just been seriously dealing the damage right now. Snurra also feeling the pain as El Chapo putting the shot straight on across towards them. HK struggling their best to survive. Louis, of course, having fought with that blue zone for so long. Influence Rage taking a little bit of damage there next to 7AOK. Team Somalia still looking strong here. Maybe the predictions will certainly come back to bite me. We'll see AOK Breno trying to put the shots in towards Influence Rage as they make their rotation, and Nade going in to do some damage. Is it going to land, though? It doesn't look like it has. This is on the front lines. Right behind, takes half his HP worth of nades. He is in the smoke, so he's not going to be able to get spotted out just yet, but who knows? Maybe they'll just hit him straight through the smoke. It happens. Smoke's getting popped now. 4 teams remaining, and the nades just absolutely flying back and forth. Nico slam dunks Breno out of the equation. Team Somalia now making their way up the side of the mountain to potentially challenge 7AOK for their spot.
Oh, here we go. The pressure is on. Influence Rage holding on to the north. Players coming in from the side of KHK. Lewis, he has probably already started healing, I think, 3 zones ago. So he's well underway, but we'll have to wait and see. I think maybe he started in the lobby. I'm not quite sure. I've seen it before. You know, Lewis bringing in some absolutely insane heal strats, and they've actually been able to use that strat quite a bit in the PMCO Africa. But now, coming into this match, will that work out for them? Of course, INF sitting on 3 players. It's trying to hold on. 7 odds of killing up ahead. Also sitting on 3. But the blue zone is creeping in slowly, making its way up. Oh, sorry. 7 Sins actually sitting on 4 players. I can't read. But of course, the team there from Team Somalia, they've got 3 players. So somewhere I knew the math was going to work out. But now the pressure is on. Cavera trying to lay down a bit of flames onto the side of Team Somalia. Just trying to make things a little bit more hotter than they were. Oh, Beast gets spotted out by Hainsey. That was a beautiful angle.
Yeah, some nice spotting out happening. This is putting the shots in towards Skull. He's creeping up on the back line, and he has found the thirst as well. That's a big one for him. Now he can just stand up and tear through the rest of 7 AOK, potentially with the rest of his team moving up. Of course, Team Somalia on the side is also looking to do the same thing. So 7 AOK under quite an intense amount of pressure right now. Of course, Louis still doing that heal strat, still alive for the time being, but this is Umzansi. Things don't really work out the way you want them to. He's just hoping to maybe pick up a... Oh, he's actually going to go and take some shots out from the blue zone. Unexpected. Nico's going to go down, but instantly clap back from El Chapo, getting taken out and not really working out for Luis there. Backfiring a little bit into his face. Brenner going to get taken down as Hainsley bobs and weaves around the rock to try and find some shots through the smoke. Elias, they're going to go down. Kavira trying to make something happen there, but Hainsley still on that trigger, just tapping away at the rest of them. So Scissors gets the kill, but Achapa goes down as Hainsley puts the hits in. He does get taken down himself. Benji trying to find something. 7 AOK about to get eliminated, and now Scissors is the last man to try and defend the title, and he will influence Rage taking that chicken dinner.
Oh, that was such a beautiful, chaotic play coming into this final zone. And of course, a really strong finish for the side there of INF, the players from Seven Sins finishing strong in second place with 3 kills. And then, of course, Team Somalia taking that third place with 9 kills on board. I mean, a really strong kill distribution heading up to these closer points, closer to the end of the game. But as we can see also the players there from Aphelion Apex, they were able to do quite a bit of damage, finding 8 kills in this match. And from there on down, I mean, it's pretty empty. We all get those, as Max would say, those big fat bubbles.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, our teams ended up in third. We finally got one, DK. We finally got one.
Yep.
Looking at it now, Sanhok not going the way that some people would have wanted it to go, but I mean, really coming great. Really amazing performance, as I can say it, coming through from. Is that how we take it?
Yeah,
Does it need
almost.
More...
It needs a little bit more accentuation on the scissors of the scissors. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on swiftly from that pronunciation. Sanhok, they're coming to a close. I mean, ultimately, if we're looking at the kill distribution, DK, do you think some of the teams at least picked it up a little bit more? Did we see a little bit more of a, an active presence from a lot of those teams that have been staying quiet?
We've definitely seen a good attempt coming in towards that. Sanhok is a map in which you can really make up for those kills or the aggression if you were lacking in one of the other maps. And yeah, we definitely did see quite a bit of that coming through in this game, but it wasn't as kill heavy as we saw in that first match. The team that won not finishing on insane double-digit numbers, but still a very valiant effort coming in. And as I pointed out, also the players coming in all the way in 10th place, finishing still with 8 kills on board. So that does say something. The teams are definitely trying to dial up the aggression, but with that, also bring in those strategic plays.
That's what we like to see. Patchy, so far, I mean, from all of the weeks that we've seen, how do you think the improvement has obviously, gone? Have we seen that that steady improvement coming through from a lot of the teams? As we've seen most of them at least once or twice, especially, Group C from yesterday. How do you think the rest of the teams are handling the pressure of relegation coming up?
Yeah, it's been very interesting, actually. We've seen a lot of teams stepping up to the plate. It's not just been a certain group of teams or specific teams out of the whole bunch. We've just seen a lot of teams stepping it up in various different occasions. I mean, we had a very, very strong start to the season. Things just kicked off really, really huge. Teams were going for it. They were picking up some serious points. And we had a resurgence of some other teams. We saw G3 break 100 very quickly. And, so we started with some Incorsi teams. We've got some previous champs coming up. I mean, we've got just everyone stepping it up and all over the place. BBC picking up a chicken dinner in the first game. And, it's just everyone has been stepping it up left, right, and center, which has been very interesting. And it's created a whole different dynamic about who is actually sitting at the top. So let's quickly go over the standings for this game. Game number 2, Influence Rage, of course, taking position number 1 off the back of that chicken dinner, plus 6 kills, giving them a total of 21 points there. Team Somalia in position number 2 with 19 points. We've got Seven Sins AOK in 3 with 15 points. So good to see them back up towards the top of the leaderboard, as well as KHK with 15 points in 4th position. So those Nkosi teams doing very, very well to keep that consistency going and keep placing those points into their pocket. Of course, Team Unique, they're in position number 5 with 10 points. Aphelion Apex with 9 points in 6th place. We've got ATROX in 7 with 8 points, and Rain from Hell in 8th position with 7 points to round off that first page. Moving on towards that second page, of course, it is Black Clover in position number 9 with 3 points, as well as Rainbow Six with 3 points in 10th position. We've got Sincerity and BBC with 2 points apiece in 11 and 12. We've got Zero Tolerance Skills in 13 with 1, and then Immortalz and Toxic Esports in 14 and 15 coming away with no points for that game. So yeah, I mean, like, you know, just like we saw, I mean, Zero Tolerance, they've been doing super well in previous games, and now coming into this game, 1 point, you know? So really, it's just been a back and forth. It's been up and down. It has really been a roller coaster for a lot of these teams. The improvement for them has certainly been that we've seen some teams, you know, taking some L's in the beginning of the season, now making a bit of a comeback and getting some points. And it's really just has been an up and down all across the board.
Yeah, I see Zero Tolerance, they're picking up that 1 point. I think they're 1 point away currently from triple digits now. They were 2 points away, now they're just so close. But they might be our second team to pick up those triple digits, or they might not. But for the time being, we're going to go to a very short break, and when we come back, it is of course Miramar that's going to be popping up on your screens, and of course the last opportunity for some of these teams today to get their points on the leaderboard and potentially take over some teams, take over some slots. We'll be right back, stay with us. Welcome back, everyone, to Umzansi Season 4, the second map of the day. Sanhok has officially come to a close, and we'll take a look at those standings just to give you a brief reminder of what happened, who ended up where, and who took that winner chicken dinner. Of course, predictions have been a fun time today, but at least, you know, DK and I, we can pat ourselves on the back. Two of our teams ended up in those top three. So, Patchy, if you would please take us through the standings briefly.
Yeah, top 3 is not good enough. You got to get on my level, guys. 100%.
Yours came top 4. Okay, no.
I
Yours
got
came
100%
top 4.
predict right, all right. Influence Rage Africa in position number 1 with 21 points off the game. Back of game 2 is what I was going to say there. Team Somalia in position number 2 with 19 points. We've got Sevenson's AOK in position number 3 with 15, as well as KHK with 15 in position number 4. Team number 5, we've got Team Unique. 10 points. Aphelion Apex in position number 6 with 9. ATROX in 7 with 8. And we've got Rain from Hell in position number 8 with 7 points. So some pretty good stuff coming out of these teams in game number 2. Of course, the next page, Black Clover in position number 9 with 3 points, as well as Rainbow Six Madagascar with 3 points in 10th position. There's Sincerity Esports and BBC with 2 points apiece in 11 and 12. And of course, Zero Tolerance Skills with 1 point in 13th position. We've got the Immortalz and Toxic in 14 and 15 with no points off the back of that. So a little bit of a tough time for them, but certainly they can make it up here in map number 3, which is, of course, Miramar, which a lot of teams do seem to prefer. There's lots of wide open spaces, lots of potential to get those kills and those hits. The long-range engagements absolutely abound. And, of course, it's the opportunity to pull out your Mini 14s and go absolutely ham, which we've seen quite a few of these players do enjoy.
Yeah, these long-distance battles really... They form a little bit of an interesting conundrum for me, because obviously, you know, moving from Sanhok, you're now used to the close quarter combat. You're now used to swiveling your head 360 degrees, scared of those third parties, those fourth parties, those fifth parties. Then you move on to Miramar, and it just all slows down all of a sudden. And now you have to readjust and really take a slow, methodical play at Miramar. You know, really think about where you want to be taking those rotations and when you want to be taking those fights, because you might not see anyone for a very long time just through rotations. DK, from your side, I mean, how does the strategy change going on to Miramar?
It changes up quite a bit. I mean, not only is it a much bigger map, but there's also a lot more terrain to utilize. And in fact, you could be rotating up alongside a team just on the other side of the ridge line and you don't even see them. So yeah, you could definitely spend quite a bit of time not seeing any of the opposing teams. But again, this is where the teams usually play a little bit more of a long range kind of game. They position themselves on the high ground, just sitting there scouting out the vicinity, looking to see if anyone eventually does venture into their scopes. So it does make for a little bit more of an interesting kind of gameplay, and it also allows a little bit more of that strategic gameplay to come through.
That's what we like to see, because then we can really test the mettle of some of the teams that we've seen thus far. And especially, you know, the Nkosi teams, they might have a little bit of experience in other events, as we were talking about earlier, but coming through to Umzansi, they once again, to our eyes, need to prove what strategies they have employed, how they've been practicing, and how they are ready to take on the rest of the, you know, the Umzansi giants that have been here for so long. Nkosi teams thus far, they've been making a really big stand. They've been making a massive impact on the scoreline, as we saw. Really, Insiders, one of the teams on the overall leaderboard that was at the beginning of tonight sitting in 3rd place, which was ridiculous. You know, KHK as well coming through, 7 Arts killing as well. So many teams that, you know, normally we wouldn't be expecting such a big explosion in terms of talent from those Nkosi teams, but we're being surprised day in and day out by the amount of competitiveness and the level of skills that we have so far. I mean, once again, I'm going to remind you, if you think you have that talent, if you think it is your time to, you know, show Africa what you've got, then you better sign up for Nkosi, because we are going to be starting next week. Registrations are still live, and I want to see some new talent. I want to see some new names, some new faces in Umzansi next season. So the way you can do that is by registering week after week. It's a weekly registration, so don't think that if you sign up once, you signed up for the rest of them. You have to come back every single week, and it is quite a grueling experiences for teams to actually make sure that they get into those qualifiers, but it's well worth it for some extra prize money and, of course, an opportunity to get into Umzansi. So DK, from your side, what have your thoughts been on those Nkosi teams? I know you've seen, you know, a few of them in other events.
Yeah, they definitely have shown quite a bit of potential and, some really strong gameplay. But that's what makes this whole Umzansi League so interesting is every season we have that addition of teams coming through from Nkosi. And looking at Nkosi, you've pointed out it is a week after week after week play, right? In Umzansi, the teams, they don't play necessarily every time. They have a bit
Yeah.
of a break. We have different groups competing against each other. And it's only when we get into those later stages that the teams actually meet each other on a more regular basis. So I want to almost go as far as to say that the teams coming in from the Nkosi side have a slight advantage as they've now had that opportunity to consistently look at what they are doing wrong, what mistakes there are, and how to best rectify those coming into the game. So they definitely have a bit of an edge. But as we know, of course, the teams that are the defending teams for Umzansi, they've been around the block a few times. They've seen a few teams come in, and well, yeah, it's that time again.
It is indeed. Miramar has officially loaded up, and the plane is already flying past quite an interesting flight path. But I'll let you guys talk about that one. DK and Patchy here to take you through all the action as we are ready for the last map of today. So, guys, please take it away. This is Umzansi Season 4, and this is where you want to be.
Thank you so much, S-Proxy. It is indeed the final map of today's games, day number 2 of this week's games. Indeed, it is Miramar. We've got some nice wide open spaces to play with. That flight path, as S-Proxy has mentioned, looking all the way towards the east there, going from north to south. So very one-sided in terms of flight paths. But one of the things that we didn't really touch on in terms of this game, or that DK touched a little bit briefly on, was that a lot of the aggression that comes from this game has to do with the players and the team's decisions. They have to actively decide to make something happen. Otherwise, like we said, they might just walk straight past one another for quite some time. So it really does come down to the teams going looking for those fights, going looking to be active on the map and get things done. So hopefully we will see a little bit of that. We have seen that in the past as well. The teams do like to get a little bit more active just to cover the distance, the extra distance that is Miramar. Of course, that zone has dropped as well up there towards the north.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I mean, like we were saying, it takes time to spot people, but one time that it is actually quite easy to spot an opposing team is in the early stages. And we already see a few teams looking to get a little bit more aggressive up in towards that Hacienda, Del Patron kind of region. We can see the team there from ATROX looking to push all the way up in towards Sanhok, but this is where Pennywise finds himself in a little bit of an interesting position. KHK right there up alongside the team from Unique. So, yeah, definitely a great way to start the match off. Nothing better than a little bit of hard action to get the ball rolling. But as we look at the spread of the teams, I mean, I don't think it's too bad taking into consideration that we had a very, very easterly flight path. So it's a good call there from Toxic Unknown, actually pushing all the way up in towards Los Higos. But I'm not quite sure Reki is here. He might be swimming with the fishes pretty soon.
Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate, but it happens from time to time. Maybe he just felt like going to the beach, DK. Maybe it was just that time. He was just like, you know what? It's time to chill. I want to go swimming. See how far the waves can take me. Of course, the rest of his friends, Unknown, will be going to Los Higos, as you mentioned, down towards that island, and he will therefore receive the 200 patchy points that I have designated for going down onto that island. I appreciate it, sir. Reki, of course, is going to drown. But, yeah, there it is. We've got our teams now down on the map. Of course, with that zone being very far up towards the north, there will be some rotates from the likes of BBC, Sincerity, Rainbow Six, and, of course, Toxic. But the rest of the teams, they're looking quite happy, looking quite comfy with where the zone is at the moment. But that just means that they have all the more time to work out how they're going to formulate their battle plan.
Well, battle plans is definitely a thing that is going to be essential. And already it seems like Snorra is looking to rotate back. Meanwhile, Jebod is going to be pushing all the way up close to the side there of La Cobreria. And again, positioning is going to be essential for these teams coming into not only Miramar, but this first phase. As if they can establish themselves in a decent spot, they can actually go about their looting business and, be uncontested. But it's going to be important to see, of course, where the teams are going to be looking to rotate up into. Seeing that we only have 15 teams in this lobby. Rain from Hell and the players there from Zero Tolerance Skill actually dropping close to the Campo Militar all the way up in towards that northeastern side. Definitely a spot that we don't see being accessible all too often.
Yeah, luckily for these teams, they've been able to jump down into that spot, and it looks like a popular position up there in the northeast for the time being, as Rain from Hell has looked into that location, and of course, we have Zero Tolerance up in that direction as well. So, yeah, good to see that the teams are nice and spread out, making use of that map. But that also means that fights might be a little way off. Yeah, we might not be seeing them all too quickly, which is, maybe a little bit sad. I'd like to see some fights right off the bat, but maybe they're going to play this one a little bit more slow and steady.
And slow and steady wins the race, Batchy.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah. We got to drop things in there somewhere, you know.
Yeah. We'll just see who wins like which one of these slow and steady players is going to win the race.
That is what we're going to be finding out, you know, within the next 25 minutes or so. Well, that's of course to say if the match continues for that entire duration. But meanwhile, the teams are going to be making their way on through. Rain from Hell is going to be heading up a little bit further, just rotating away from that Campo Militar kind of position. And of course, choosing one of the fastest vehicles in the game, Batchy.
Oh yeah, the party bus, my favorite.
Yeah.
That thing is a speed demon right there. I mean, you jump into the party bus and then you can go across the whole map in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Actually, guarantee.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got the Batchy stamp of approval as well.
It does. Yeah, this bad boy can fit so many speeds in it. They can just like instantly go across the map, like no problem whatsoever. You know, I've got a whole bunch of these in my garage. You know, I just take it out. Sometimes I go to Alaska. You know, go back to the North Pole, the South Pole, easy peasy.
Yeah, you got it. I mean, sometimes you just need to cool off a little bit. That's exactly where you go. And speaking about cooling off, that is not anything that the side of Influence is going to be allowing. As Scissor, that's what I'll be calling him. Scissor is looking to move in up alongside the players here from Unique and sorry. Ooh, almost getting spotted out in the window, but oh, Scissor getting cut short.
No.
As he can't hold on. Exist, wiping him out of existence, and up comes Hainsley, but he too gets taken down. Mercury and Nico left to push in. Wow, Unique really holding the fort.
Like, I'm just gonna say it. Once this was dead, it was over and done. It was GG. I mean, once that guy goes down, you know, the hopes and dreams just fade away. Right now, Influence Rage on the back foot. They're just pulling back to try and regen the health. Unique with a really nice defense, assaulting the team coming in for the kill. But of course, now got to deal with the rest of these players. Mercury going up towards the roof to try and get some cheeky angles in. Nades being tossed in as well. But Exist instantly taken down by Nico. The thirst comes through as well, and that's a little bit of a problem for Unique. Because if Exist can't get back up, then Keish is going to be all alone. You can see Azuri all the way on the back line, but the res should come through as Hainsley is also getting picked up. So Hainsley back into the fight. Losing that would have been quite a heavy hitter gone for Influence Rage. So, of course, pretty good that they got him back up. Azuri absolutely sprinting across the desert plains at the moment to try and reinforce the team and give them some much needed assistance here in this fight across this very small house.
Yeah, it's raining so fast we can see the dust just building up behind him, those clouds. But now the pressure is on. Azuri trying to bring in a bit of that Sonic approach, just sneaking his way in behind the rocks, trying to have that surprise element. It could actually work out in his favor. But first he needs to try and deal potentially with Mercury, as the rest of the players there from INF has started to smoke everything up, just providing some good coverage for them. Nico trying to send it over the roof. Will it make it all the way across? Not just yet, but oh, Mercury getting caught with a grenade in hand. Smoke grenade, I hope that was. Otherwise, it's going to pop anytime soon if he pulled it long enough. But of course, now it is down to Nico and Hainsley to hold on for the side of INF.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Azuri now coming up from the side with a little bit of a flank for reinforcements for the side of Unique. Ainsley and Nico have to make something happen here. They pop the smokes to try and put as much distance and barriers in between them and Unique as possible. Nades flying through, not going to connect just yet, though. But the pressure is certainly on, and Influence Rage, they can't back out of this position. There's no way to escape. They're up against a cliff face that isn't very easily scalable. I mean, they're going to be very, very exposed if they try and escape now. They have to commit to this battle. They have to commit to this fight. They just have to absolutely go for it. They've got to tear through all of the competition here, and it's going to be difficult. They push forward to try and escape from Azuri, who's just keeping a watchful eye on the position, but so much damage in towards Nico. It's going to mean he might just go down. He has to retreat back up the staircase to try and survive, but in comes the nade from Azuri. That's exactly what is needed. Nico gonna go down, and that is the eradication of Influence Rage. There was nothing they could do. Unique, just a very nice surgical play coming out.
Yeah, that was a really, really good show of dominance coming in from the side there of Unique. And actually, I mean, the players there from Influence Rage, they were actually rotating into that position. So, no. Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got my wires crossed there for a quick second. But of course, speaking about wires crossed, I'm hoping to see the teams bring it in, because coming in from that western side, we do see the players there from 7 AOK as well as BBC rotating up alongside each other. But on the eastern side, we've got the Immortalz and Aphelion Apex.
Yeah, indeed. We've got the Immortalz moving up there. Aphelion Apex moving up in that direction as well. Sincerity making their way across from the east as well. From the west, we've also got quite a number of teams. We've got BBC, 7 AOK, and Rainbow Six streaming in from that particular direction. We've got KHK up in the north as well, moving slowly into position. Speaking of up in the north, we've got about 3 teams stacked up there, if I'm counting that correctly. We've got 0 Tolerance Skills, it looks like, Black Clover, and another team that I didn't manage to catch in the quick of things. It's Rain from Hell there. As you can see, Mini 14 in hand is Neon right up here, looking for some shots. They are caught in a little bit of a difficult spot, but Old Boy is just going to be zooming through the town. He's not having a problem whatsoever. Of course, August and Neon off in the distance. Federal and Vibe on the other side. Federal being one of the players that was absolutely laser beaming in that previous game. Maybe going to be able to do something here once again. This guy's accuracy is just nuts. It's off on something else.
Yeah, well, for now, we hope that it is kind of locked onto target up ahead. We do have Neon, Old Boy, and Argus. A few of the targets that still remain. I mean, I think that we did have a little bit of a weird moment there with the observing. It seemed like Old Boy was going somewhere, and now he's disappeared once again. Maybe he's just holding on towards that western position. But this is where we could potentially
He's in the
see,
battle bus.
It's got to be. I mean, you said that thing was so fast. I mean, and it goes at that speed without even touching the accelerator. So,
Yeah,
you know, that's like next level stuff. But speaking about next level, Black Clover. We see them positioned over onto eastern side. They could maybe sneak up with a few third parties here, but they're going to have to take that kind of play to the next level. They have to try and just, you know, encroach a little bit on the position here, but still need to be pretty careful in doing so. Oh, sorry, that is Black Crystal. Okay. No, that is Black Clover. Well,
No,
too many
BCs.
Black Clover, yeah. I see too many BCs when I look at the leaderboard, but of course. Black Clover. There we go. I used to call them bro code, but here they are. Black Clovers now coming under a little... Well, no, never mind. I thought they were putting in some fire, but that, of course, is the side of KHK. Pennywise gets knocked right on down.
Yeah, and it looks like those teams are congregating in 2 big groups. They're one on the east, one on the west, and that zone is shrinking down in towards the middle, favoring just barely on towards the east side. So all of these teams just going to be pushing up right into one another's faces and trying to get themselves a little bit of space inside that safe zone, fighting for the piece of the pie that's going to keep alive towards the end of the game. We're still 14 teams strong, 49 players left alive. That's not the kind of numbers that you're looking for if you are one of these teams, because you want the points, you want as many points as possible. And right now, this is not the finish that you are looking for. KHK moving up in towards the position to try and reinforce. Of course, are under quite a bit of fire from all over the show. You can see Louis and Pennywise have both hit the deck, so Snur and Jebo have to come through to get those reses. In the meantime, Kingerman coming up to put the pressure on El Chabo, zooming down there to make some assistance happen. And this is about to be an all-out fight once again, as Team Somalia puts on the accelerator as well, putting on the pressure in towards KHK. We're very low on HP. Pennywise getting knocked again. Barely any time for this guy to stay alive right now. He's not getting any leeway.
Oh, but there we go. Beast goes down. And this is going to be quite an interesting engagement for the side here of KHK. I mean, not only are they looking to improve their standings overall, you know, just to advance up that board, but they have to try and suppress the push coming in from the side here of Team Somalia, as we do see El Chapo now looking to come rushing in. Will he be the saving grace and looking to save the party and his team in the process? Pressure is on. KHK currently sitting up in 3rd place. I mean, this is going to be a tough play, Betchy. Will they be able to make it? They still have all 4 players up. Team Somalia holding up ahead. Oh, come on. There's nades coming in. And I mean, both these teams have tasted some amazing plays before. Up comes the hits, and with that, oh, Leaderboard gets picked right on up. Lewis letting that M2 for 9 just fly, using all 150 bullets. But eventually gets the knock in. Now it's up to Kingerman to try and come sneaking in. Of course, Pennywise now just getting a little bit aggressive there, saying, just a quick reminder on towards Benji's, like, you can knock me down, but I will get rest and come for the thirst. Now Kingerman trying to move in. Pennywise with a bit of strafing. Up comes the shots, and with that, Kingerman gets sent right back into the lobby.
Yeah, some dipping, bobbing, and weaving out of Pennywise. He got knocked down, he got back up again, he got knocked down, and he got back up again. So here he is, he's found the first, found the kills, but of course that blue zone is moving in. So KHK do need to make that rotate happen sooner rather than later. We still got 13 teams alive, which means these teams are just squeezing in to this circle right now. But the zone is getting smaller. The space is running out. The land is running out. Are you going to be able to secure yourself a spot? There's the rotation, and it's all the way towards the northeast. That's going to make it very difficult for teams like Rainbow Six, Aphelion, Apex, the Immortalz, even Unique. Going to have to make their way all the way across. Speaking of Sincerity up here with the Immortalz. And, well, it's a bit of a stalemate. We've got Willy Lead off on the one side. We've got Rogue and Easy in these warehouses. But Sahil Umar and MFP, they're just happy to sit in the house for now. They've got to get moving soon. Only 30 seconds left before that blue zone starts to come on in.
Oh, pressure's on. Come on, will the Immortalz be able to get any plays in? Here's the team from Sincerity are starting to rotate up. Up comes Willy. Oh, gets spotted out in the open. The shots finding their way over, but not doing too much damage just yet. It looks like they are committing to that rotation up in towards zone. So Easy now just trying to leapfrog their way back up in as well. Aimbot, the last one to start rotating up, but as we see a little bit further up ahead on the edge of zone, Zero Tolerance and the team from Unique. Now just duking it out. Up comes Vortex, trying to get in the window. Fails at first, but tries again. Gets in, breaks the glass. Oh, the pressure is on. The grenades are getting sent across. Azuri picking one up. Vortex could be running into that. No, he surpasses it, and up comes the spray, but Vortex with a Vortex of Doom just sucking up the players there of Unique.
Yeah, indeed, that Vortex has just consumed all before it, as it does. And there it is. You see the result of that. Sincerity now moving in on the one side, trying to make their way across. They managed to get out of this situation alive for the time being. But for how long is that going to last is the question, as BBC and Aphelion Apex roll on in to the zone to squeeze their way in. We still got 12 teams remaining at the moment. 4 zones moving in towards 5 zones deep. So things are getting that much more difficult by the second. Vibes trying to put a couple of shots across. Vortex still doing the damage. That's Willy getting taken out. Sincerity under a little bit of fire as Aimbot goes down as well. BBC putting the shots in. That's for luck doing the damage. In the meantime, all the rest of the teams are trying to make their way into the zone. You can see it is looking very much crowded, and it's getting more and more crowded by the second. Every zone rotation makes things that much more difficult. Unknown coming in from the south as Toxic start to get on up there. They had a little bit of a slow southern start, and now they're trying to catch up with the zone as it is, but they're about to run headfirst into Rainbow Six. For luck, still putting the damage down as Easy gets taken down. We've got the Immortalz inside the zone at the moment, but look at that cover. It is just very minuscule right now.
What cover are you talking about, Patchy? I don't see
Exactly,
any.
that's what I'm saying.
And Immortalz, they also only started with a 3-man team coming into this match. Now we see the players here from Sincerity coming under a bit of fire here as Rogue Baby, once again, the last remaining hopeful for the team. Looking to hold strong, but for luck, it's got a very good angle. He's trying to pick up that confirm. Meanwhile, we do see Bash from Toxic getting eliminated. Ooh, nice cheeky shot from Falak. Maybe luck is on his side. We'll find out soon enough. Meanwhile, Sincerity are going to be trying to get the numbers back up into fighting form. 2, of course, being better than 1. But now, it is that moment. Falak just inching his way up. Ooh, firing up into the rocks. Very cheeky spot, but quite favorable actually for Sincerity. Easy, not having it too easy now. Oh, but he tries to get the angle on towards Falak, but Falak spots him out. Puts a nice few hits in towards him. And now the pressure is on once again. The smoke has dissipated. BBC moving up right on cue. You can see Falak and Law looking to come in and clean house as they make their way towards the zone.
Yeah, indeed. BBC now pushing on up. They've been laying the shots down in towards Sincerity, but now they have to push forward and look for those kills. And of course, the zone has moved on up. For Luck taking a little bit of damage. He's trying to dip below the sight line of that hill to try and stay alive. Sincerity very much grouped up. A well-placed nade could take them out, and For Luck is looking to land it. That looked very well thrown. It might just hit. No, it just barely misses. And Sincerity will stay alive for the time being. Easy getting taken out from the back line by Vortex. Zero Tolerance catching them out. Sincerity pinched between two very tough spots here. They've got teams rotating behind them, teams pushing up from behind and from the front. It is just absolute chaos for these teams that need to rotate on. 10 teams remaining, 32 players left alive, as everyone is now flailing in towards that zone. You can see the rotation coming in for BBC as quickly as possible. Sincerity just cowering in that smoke to try and stay alive is Rogue. Things are very, very difficult right now for all of these teams. They've got to make some quick rotates, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get into that zone because it is going to be a fight for land. It's going to be a fight for space, and it's not going to be an easy one. As we just mentioned, there's the cover looking absolutely minuscule. The tapping away of those shots all across the place. BBC getting eliminated, it looks like. Rainbow Six under fire as well, trying to run the blue zone even. So many players just trying to scramble to safety right now.
Oh, here we go. Oh, this is now where the players and the teams need to be so careful with when they choose to rotate up. Meanwhile, we are going to be seeing the players from ATROX striking down onto Zero Tolerance as Vibes and Mortal gets knocked right on down. Hate's now trying to hold on. Will we see another clutch? Oh, up comes the spray. Not just yet. ATROX playing the edge. There we go. Comes swooping in, but with that picker gets picked up. It is up to Hates once again. No, down he goes. ATROX will not allow that one to happen once again to come through in this final game. But now, 7 teams remain battery, 13 players still alive. Players here from Black Clover sitting on 2. Yo-Yo trying to get raised right back on up. KHK moving up from the north. Looking to apply a bit of pressure. Blue zone also about to pop. Here we go. Lewis now searching for the angles. Oh, down goes Yo-Yo. Then roll the last remaining hope ball, but the spray comes in and down he goes. KHK quickly dealing with the threat and then just swiftly moving on.
Yeah, what a very well-managed fight there. Louis doing some very good movement there. You could see, despite the fact that they were fighting a team that was behind a nice solid piece of cover, there was just some really well-managed angles there from Louis and KHK. They get to move forward and pick up those kills. 5 teams remaining. We've got Rain from Hell, Aphelion, Apex. We've got Rainbow Six, KHK up in this one, and ATROX looking very strong with their players as well. So things are not done just yet. Any of these teams could potentially make something happen, could potentially go for that chicken dinner. Who is it going to be is the question. Right now, KHK looking for something. A very nice snipe coming through as well. Things are very, very tense. These teams look for a way in. You can see that zone is looking very small, and these teams are not really in the best position. Aphelion Apex probably in the best spot of the lot, and they're just barely on the edge, so they do have to actually move forward a little bit, but they have a good position. They can just wait for something to happen. Rain from Hell getting assaulted by Prime as Rainbow Six start to push on up. You can see KHK spread out and occupying that zone right now. They've got a good spot in here. They've got some very large amounts of ground covered. It's going to be tough for these teams to move on in. This could actually potentially change the landscape of this play right now as ATROX start to stream in from the south and assert a little bit of their dominance in terms of their player count. Try and take some of that space for themselves.
Oh, it's going to be quite a bit of bottlenecking coming in over on towards that eastern side. But now KHK find themselves in a beautiful setup, right as you pointed out. But now, pressure is on. Aphelion and the players there from Rainbow Six positioned over on towards that western side. Trying to figure out who's going to be the team to advance up in towards the zone. Rain from Hell right there alongside. They're not going to be letting them slide through on this one just yet as Neon gets sent on back. And up comes a bit of a dash, a bit of a run, back and forth, strafing. Oh, nice. Down goes Karkik. Down goes Cold. Prime swooping in from behind. But now Rusty. Oh, a little bit rusty there with the reactions as Prime sets it up so beautifully. Closing it out, and with that sends them backing right back into the lobby. But now, 4 teams remain. And then this looks like quite a strong play, actually, for the side of KHK. Because they've got Rain holding on the side, Rainbow Six up in front of them. And then, of course, the players from ATROX coming in from that southern edge.
Yeah, and right now, ATROX have the numbers to potentially challenge KHK, but do they have the skills to actually do what they do? Because KHK have been very dominant so far. They've been showing their mettle in this season so far, and you could see the result of that pinpoint accuracy, that precision coming through from the shots across the way. Now, Old Boy slowly creeping on up, trying to keep himself alive, but with that zone rotation, he's got to make some tough choices. Rainbow Six off to the one side, dead, putting the hits in towards Pennywise. That's another drop for him. He's going to be able to get the first, though. He's trying to get it, trying to go for it, and it does come through. HK now very much on the back foot as ATROX does assert the dominance on this land. Now, Louis and Snorra have been separated on both sides of the map. Old Boy and Rainbow Six challenge Snorra if he doesn't get himself out of that position, and Louis, of course, has to deal with his own issues in the form of ATROX up ahead of him, who are looking pretty healthy right now. They've got the players, so they can challenge these positions. Soho looking for something, maybe a little bit of damage in, but these teams need to be careful. That blue zone is moving in. No one's really got position except for KHK.
Yeah, and this zone is all about position. It's all about playing these ridge lines. And with that, we see Rain from Hell getting sent back. ATROX having a little bit of a knock come their way. Lewis now trying to play this one. Meanwhile, we're going to be seeing Snorra trying to just apply a bit of pressure, bit of supportive fire coming in from that northern angle. Rainbow Six holding up right there alongside him as they too get ready now to push back up in towards the zone. ATROX sending up the grenades over on towards Snorra. He gets spotted out. I am high, not finding the angle just yet. But they've suffered quite a few casualties, down to 2. Unless, of course, they can get those reses in. Snorra now just trying to find the most ideal approach back into zone. Oh, no surprise. He gets picked right on up. ATROX, as well as the players coming in there from Rainbow Six, applying quite a bit of pressure with that. Lewis also gets sent back, and now it is between ATROX and Rainbow Six to fight it out. Rainbow Six already sitting on 10 kills, Patchy, and now the pressure is on.
It certainly is. We asked the question, does ATROX have what it takes? And so far, they have proven that they indeed do. They've still got the numbers, and now it's a 4v2 at the moment. Prime rushing up to try and take the challenge, but he's taking so much damage as well with the molly coming through. But instantly, Todoroki trying to chime in with his own damage, but I don't think it's going to be enough. ATROX just instantly go in for the kill, swooping down for that chicken dinner, and they do pick it up, and they will be walking away with a very nice 10 kills in the pocket as well.
Yeah, I mean, some really impressive PUBG coming in from these last few zones. And you got to give it, though, to the players here from Zero Tolerance Skills. I mean, they've placed in 9th, but they finished strong on 9 kills as well. So good play, good finish. But, of course, if we look to our top 3 teams, I mean, this is where ATROX just overpowered this last bit of the zone, just utilizing the numbers they had to their advantage. And of course, unfortunately, KHK weren't able to swoop in and finish strong, but still a really good effort.
Both my teams finished in top 3 today. So, I'm getting better at my predictions. But looking at it, I mean, really fantastic work there from ATROX. And of course, ATROX was one of the teams at the beginning of this weekend that we were worried about ending up on that relegation page, obviously coming through from Incorsi. It's not a team that I want to be seeing drop out early on. So I want to see them go further. And it's great to see that they're going to be picking up a winner chicken dinner. Definitely going to go quite a bit of a way to help them on that leaderboard. Just push them a little bit higher. And hopefully we'll see them in the next phase, but still at least I think another 2 weekends before we're going to get to that point. So they still got some time if they do need to pick up those points. So far, today has been relatively interesting. I mean, Patchy, how does today compare to yesterday?
Well, look, we didn't have any absolutely insane 1v4 clutches, but we certainly did have some interesting situations, some very difficult and trying situations for the teams. And we've been seeing a lot of teams stepping it up, like I mentioned earlier in today's games that, maybe we didn't expect. I mean, you guys made some predictions there, but certainly I don't think anyone could have really predicted every single team that placed up towards the top. And like you mentioned, it's good to see teams like ATROX can actually get that chicken dinner. It gives a little bit of incentive and motivation to some of the teams that are struggling at the moment. You can still get the chickens. You can still get the points. It is not done and dusted just yet. Every match is an opportunity. And of course, we still have a couple of matches left. And even this week, there are still games left. So there's always the potential to make something happen. There's no good given up. And I think it's just a little bit of encouragement, because one of the things that we really wanted to see get eliminated a lot earlier on in the original seasons, we wanted to see the teams fight it out all the way to the end. There's no good giving up. There's no good just pulling out for the sake of it. Just go for it. Fight every single match, because anything can happen. We have seen that proven time and again. We saw it last season with 4K team moving in from dead last to number one. And we've seen it now today as well with a team like ATROX pulling out a chicken dinner. So yeah, it's just been some really cool stuff coming out of the teams. We've got to give them props where it's due. Some nice gameplay and some good fighting today.
And of course, here are the standings for that last match that we just witnessed. DK, if you wouldn't mind just taking us through it.
Well, of course, as we can see, the players there from ATROX stepping up absolutely phenomenally, coming in with an 11-kill game, bringing them to a grand total of 26 points. Rainbow Six Madagascar holding strong with 10 kills on board. But then as we look to the side of KHK and Zero Tolerance, they've also just played an absolutely phenomenal set of PUBG in this game. The top 4 teams there, of course, bringing in some insane double-digit points. But of course, as we move a little bit further on down, we see Rain from Hell finishing strong with regards to placement points. Unfortunately, they weren't able to rain any points in with regards to kills. But hey, 8 points on the board is still nothing to scoff at. Aphelion Apex holding strong in that 6th position, also coming in on 8. And then Sincerity and Team Unique sitting in 7th and 8th place, 4 points on the board. And a good bit of a share coming through there. But now, the second page, this is where, it's a little bit worrying. But of course, it is still early for stages. The team still will have an opportunity to improve on the players as they progress through the weeks. And yeah, I think for today, it's kind of done. Obviously, we're looking to see a bit of an improvement as we continue through the remainder of not only this week, but the rest of the group stages.
Agreed. Obviously, tomorrow we still have another a whole day of games, but coming through with your MVP, it's going to be Prime from Rainbow Six Madagascar with 8 kills, 994 damage, and a total survival time of 25 minutes and 15 seconds. So with those 3 games coming to a close, of course, those points being added to the overall leaderboard, so we might be seeing a little bit of a different change coming up there towards those top 8 on the first page, and hopefully some of the teams have found themselves a little bit of safe haven off from that last page. That is, of course, the danger to relegation that we saw. And I'm curious to see if Zero Tolerance is going to be the second team to pick up those triple digits, or if it's going to be it's going to be 2 teams, actually. Patchy, please take us through these interesting leaderboards right now.
We have passed the 100-point mark for 2 more teams, and it's going to be KHK's topping the charts at the moment. They have been, as I mentioned, putting in some very consistent performance throughout the season so far, and they're definitely a team to watch, definitely a contender for the top placements as we move through the rest of the rounds in the season. But of course, moving down that leaderboard, Zero Tolerance is occupying position number 2 with 109 points, just up ahead G3 Temper, who will have a chance to try and add some more points to their score very, very soon. Of course, in that 3rd position is G3 Temper. In 4th, we've got Influence Rage Africa keeping their spot in position number 4 with 95 points. Rilla Insiders with 91 in 5th. We've got Aphelion Apex, who've made their way up into 6th place with 88 points. Team Somalia in 7 with 82. We've got CE Sports in 8th position with 78 points to round up page number 1 of the overall standings. Of course, moving in to page number 2, we have Seven Sins AOK in number 9 with 74 points. Line 4KT in 10th place with 70 points. BBC with 62 points in 11th position. ATROX have boosted themselves up to 12th position with 57 points. We've got Black Clover in 13th with 57, as well as Ring from Hell with 57 and 14. We've got Sidemen in position number 15 with 55 points, and the Magicians in 16 with 48. So yeah, I mean, these teams have really just been adding points to their score left, right, and center. Of course, moving on to the 3rd page, we've got Lag Esports in 17th position with 48 points. With 44 points apiece, we've got Fear and Immortalz in positions 18 and 19, respectively. We've got Solo Esports in 20 with 42 points. Sincerity in 21 with 39 points. And of course, with 33 points each, Rainbow Six Madagascar, the Infinity AF, and the Natural Killers in positions 22, 23, and 24 to round off the 3rd page. And then, of course, that dreaded 4th page that you just don't want to be found on at all. I'm going to start off with 25. It's Team Unique with 33 points. 26 is Young Thunder with 28 points, as well as Ultra 6 with 28 points in 27th position. Black Crystal with 23 and 28. We've we've got Toxic Esports in position 29 with 22 points. EXO Redefined in 30th place with 18 points. And Comfy 6 rounding out 31st with 12 points. So, I mean, just to reiterate, it is absolutely possible to move up off this page. I mean, look at this. Basically, positions 25 to 29 could get a chicken dinner like ATROX did today and immediately move themselves like doubly up this leaderboard. They could even move on to page 2 if they put in enough points in a particular day. So it is absolutely possible for these teams to change their situation. And of course, these are the culprits of that change. These are the instigators of that change. Your kill leaders so far. It's Rilla Insiders still sporting Zeke with 21 kills, 19 minutes and 19 seconds of average survival time, 3,188 damage done. We've got Fex from 4KT with 17 kills, 21 minutes and 24 seconds average survival time, and a damage of 3,929. And of course, G3 sporting Uden with 16 kills, 21 minutes and 41 seconds, average survival time with 2,810 points of damage. And then of course, KHK coming in with Snurra, managing 16 kills, 19 minutes and 48 seconds average survival time, and 2,494 points, or 95 points, should I say, of damage done. So very well done to our kill leaders, of course, moving up, shaking the tables, and of course our teams that are actively moving up that overall leaderboard as well, just getting some cheeky chicken dinners.
Yes, Nora just sneaking there on the kill leader, taking out one of the G3 Temper players and making sure he's found himself a spot. But that's going to be rounding up the second day of this week's Umzansi Esports League Season 4. The action brought to you by Northern Gaming Africa. And we have to give a shout out to, of course, your wonderful casters and our wonderful production team for bringing you all the action. And in such a fashionable style, I might add. But we're going to be saying good night and hopefully to see you tomorrow for the same time, same place action that we've been bringing you. And PUBG Mobile is just getting started, so you want to make sure you are here to join us. Once again, for more information on anything Northern Gaming Africa related, go check out the Northern Gaming Africa website at northerngaming.africa. Trust me, there's some cool content on there as well with the social media links included. For now, we're going to say good night and see you tomorrow for more Umzansi action as it comes to you, thanks to Northern Gaming Africa. Good night.